Las Vegas, a place where the light shine the brightest and the biggest of superstars come out to play. Ryan Garcia is one of those superstars, and tonight he takes to the ring knowing that in order to compete against his peers, he needs to win that world title. Barrios has already done that. For him, it's about legacy and adding a marquee name to his glowing resume. It's high stakes in Vegas, and Ryan Garcia has put all his chips in.
I need a world title.
Who's the target?
When was the last time you were in Vegas?
You want this?
The contest is on. And these guys are just good enough.
This kid thinks he's coming here to beat me. He's out of his mind.
To pull off the fight of the year.
And here comes King Ron. Garcia stunned the boxing world.
Mario Barrios. Ryan Garcia.
I get the win by being who I am.
He's very unpredictable, he's very explosive, so that makes him a dangerous opponent.
This fight means everything to me.
Are you ready? You don't want to miss 1 second.
I just feel like it's a do or die moment.
The ring. High stakes.
Welcome to Las Vegas, the home of the high rollers, the big superstars, and where the glitz and glamour all come together. And hopefully the glitz and glamour will be here tonight to witness what we expect to be a full crowd at the T-Mobile Arena as Ryan Garcia bids to become a world champion for the first time, taking on the champion. That name is Mario Barrios, plus a stellar undercard, which has been dissected somewhat. We're going to get into that in a minute. Welcome into the studio as well. I am Adi Oladipo, alongside a couple of superstar guests with me. We have Mike Poppinger, we have Chris Mannix. Let's get straight to the big breaking news. You guys would have seen it trending all over social media, and that's that we miss our chief support. Our co-main event is gone. Richardson Hitchens out in his fight against Oscar Duarte. Fill us in, Mike. You broke the story. What's happening?
Yeah, Ade, I mean, it's a big bummer. It's the fight I was most looking forward to on this undercard, and what really got Richardson Hitchens is he had to do another weigh-in this morning per the IBF rules. He was defending his IBF title, and on, I think it was Thursday at the press conference, right, Hitchens was open about when he fought Gustavo Lemos, how drained he felt from that second weigh-in. So he weighed in this morning under the 150-pound limit, and then he started vomiting, I'm told. He felt ill, and then had to pull out of the fight.
Yeah, it's a big blow. A lot of people were looking at this as the fight of the night, right? Again, Oscar Duarte was, again, I think, fantastic at the press conference, and they were going back and forth, and this one had the intrigue. It's a big blow to lose it from the card.
It was a terrific matchup. World title on the line for Oscar Duarte. His opportunity to fight for a world title for the first time, win a world title, get bigger and better things. And it's disappointing for Richardson Hitchens. If we're being honest, it's unprofessional. You can say what you want about the IBF rehydration clause. A lot of people don't like it, the 10-pound rehydration. They are the only one of the 4 sanctioning bodies that requires this 10-pound rehydration. But Richardson Hitchens has fought under these rules for several years now. He said coming into this event that he had hired new nutritionists, he was working with new people, that what happened with Gustavo Lemos, where he made the weight poorly, would not happen this time around. I talked to people that were at the rehydration this morning. They said he looked fine there. He said he looked like he made it comfortably. Something happened over the next few hours, whereas rehydration just went haywire. And that is a bitter disappointment for someone like Oscar Duarte. And that's what this is all about. Oscar Duarte is someone that craved this opportunity, 4-0 since his loss to Ryan Garcia, working with Robert Garcia during this stretch. And Richardson Hitchens, you know, it's unprofessional to have a situation like this play out.
Yeah, Anna, Richardson Hitchens has been asking for the big fights since that George Kambosos win. He's like, look, give me a big fight. This is a big fight. This is a big card, right? His name was written up on the Las Vegas Strip. Unprofessional, says Chris Mannix. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's more than fair from Chris Mannix. Absolutely. I mean, you sign up and you sign a contract, you know you have the IBF title. Don't fight for the IBF title then if you don't want to deal with the same-day weigh-in. Do I like the same-day weigh-in? No, I don't. But I also don't like fighters costing another fighter an opportunity. Oscar Duarte earned this shot. It was a heated press conference, right? We enjoyed all the back and forth, the banter, and it was a great matchup of styles. The boxer and Hitchens against Duarte, the pressure fighter, and I hope the IBF does the right thing now and strips him of the title.
Yeah, I'd add one more thing to this. I was talking to Robert Garcia earlier in the day after Mike broke the news, and one thing he was trying to do was trying to figure out if they could do a Frank Martin versus Oscar Duarte fight for an interim IBF title. Now, of course, that's not possible for a number of reasons. First and foremost, that Frank Martin weighed above 140 pounds for his fight with Nahir Albright. But I give Robert credit for creativity, trying to make something work, but it sure looks like Oscar Duarte is going to be going home without a fight.
Yeah, and you can understand why Robert's trying to make sure the guy gets a fight. Again, it's been a 12-week fight camp. We saw the images of him on the scales there. It looked fantastic. He's been asking for this big fight and a big opportunity, and he misses out, and it's gut-wrenching from him. Let's have a quick discussion, if we can, about this rehydration clause with the IBF. Again, they're the only sanctioning body that imposes it. Is it outdated, and do we need to move on from it?
Well, Sergio hates it. I know that. Mike said he doesn't like it. I take a perspective of, if you rehydrate more than 10 pounds in 24 hours, it's not really healthy to begin with, right? Like, you shouldn't be putting on 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
How many Zurdo Ramirez fights have we called over the years where the guy weighed in at 168 or 175, and then on fight night he was weighing 200 pounds? It's just not healthy. I think the IBF rehydration clause, while problematic for sure, I think it does serve a purpose where guys, they're not going to fight for an IBF belt unless they feel they can healthily, if that's a word, get into that 10-pound range. So I don't hate it. I understand why fighters really don't like it, but it's like Mike said, that's what the IBF calls for. If you don't want to fight for an IBF, if you don't want to do that, don't fight for an IBF title.
Mike, what happens, do you think, with Richardson Hitchens now? Is it a case of he gets stripped, or is it a case of he now jumps to 147? Keith Connolly, his manager, at the press conference was talking about a potential fight with Devin Haney at 147. Do we see him at 140 again, or is it a case of maybe he sticks around at 140 but challenges for another title?
I would like to see him move up to 147, and I think one of the biggest problems with boxing is that we have 17 weight classes, sometimes 18, right, if you recognize Bridger weight. And maybe it sounds counterintuitive, right, to the viewer, but if we had less weight classes, then the fighters would be forced, in my opinion, to fight at the proper weight. If you can't make 140, you go to 147, and then there is no 154, right? Either you're at 147 or you're at 160. And I think if you did that, that would put fighters at the proper weight.
I think with Hitchens, he will go up to 147. I think he's done fighting at 140. But I think he kind of nuked his value, by doing this and losing his world title. It's sort of similar to what happened with Keyshawn Davis in his fight last year against Nahir Albright. Keyshawn Davis was supposed to fight at 135, missed weight by 4 pounds, lost his title, and then had to kind of rebuild a little bit. Now, he did it quickly with a tremendous performance against Jermaine Ortiz, but the dreams of Richardson Hitchens fighting Devin Haney, I think, are dead for now. The dreams of Hitchens fighting for a world title at 147, I think, are dead for right now. He's going to have to go up to 147 and kind of rebuild over 1 and 2 fights to put himself in position to fight for a title. And maybe it'll be the IBF too, like he's a former IBF champion. They might put him high in the rankings at 147. He might be doing this all over again at 147 pounds.
Yes or no, does Oscar Duarte fight next for the vacant IBF 140-pound title?
I would sure hope so, Ade. I mean, Oscar Duarte, like you said, or Manick said, 4-0, right? He's looked fantastic. And I was so impressed by the way Duarte fought against Kenny Sims in August, right? And Kenny Sims is a great guy to get ready for a Richardson Hitchens. I mean, nonstop pressure. He looked fantastic during the second half of the fight. I thought he was going to have a great showing tonight, and I just feel gutted for him.
Yeah. Nobody likes kicking around the sanctioning bodies more than I do, and I hope that the IBF does the right thing here. This is a guy that's a professional, made weight, is in the IBF rankings already, was ready to go, a good name, top fighter, coming off that big win over Kenneth Sims. He deserves the opportunity to fight for the IBF title against the next top challenger, whoever's in their rankings.
All right, you said, Chris Mannix, that Sergio Mora doesn't like the IBF rehydration cap.
Doesn't like much. I mean,
he doesn't like a lot. I'm about to say, this is Sergio we're talking about. He is ringside with Todd Grisham. Gents, what do you make of what's happened?
Yeah, let's get the fighter perspective on this, Sergio. You've taken a lot of pride in the fact that you never missed weight, you never had to pull out of a fight. But you've told me the story many times about you came really close. Back in 2008, you just beaten Vernon Forrest for your world title, the WBC. You went partying all week, eating whatever you wanted, drinking whatever you wanted. They called you, you said, hey, you're going to fight again in 3 months. You almost didn't take the fight. You decided to do it, and it almost went terrible for you. Tell us the story.
It went terrible, but here's the thing. When you sign a contract, you agree to make a certain weight, especially when you're on the championship level. You're demanded to train for the fight, be prepared for the fight, and defend that championship. But it all starts with that fight. It all starts with making weight. The thing about Richardson Hitchens, he's very tall for the weight. He's very long, he's lanky, he fills it out nicely. But you're a professional. This is going to be a championship night for you. You have to suck it up. Fighters need to suck it up, especially when you're champions. Hitchens refused to do that.
But you said the day of that fight, the rematch against Vernon Forrest, you were laying on the floor and you're talking to your coach. You were thinking about maybe pulling the plug.
I was thinking about it. My trainer convinced me not to do it, but I was starting to feel ill. it's not that you're sick. You're just not prepared mentally, and you know that you drained your body. You're not going to be at your absolute best when you know your opponent. You see how he looks. You see how strong Duarte looks, and that plays head games on you. And the more head games you are, the more sicker you get.
What do you think about that IBF?
Hate it.
Say, I like it. It's like, if you're going to fight at 140 pounds, you should at least be close to 140 pounds. What's the point of fighting for a 140-pound title when you're walking around at 165? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense to you guys, the casuals, or everyone on the outside. Fighters, once we make the weight, that's what we don't want to focus on weight anymore. We want to rehydrate. We want to eat. We want to be comfortable. We want to get the rest and just think about the fight. But if you're having to worry about your weight, that's the fight before the fight.
But isn't that the point? You don't have to worry about your weight if that's your weight. You know what I mean? If you weigh 145 pounds walking around, you cut 5 pounds, that's fine. But when you walk around at 165, you have to cut 25 pounds to make weight, then of course you're worried about your weight all the time.
The majority of fighters are cutting at least 15 to 20 pounds. I mean, that's just what I've seen. That's my experience. You're not going to stay within a 5-pound limit. 10 pounds is maybe the max. But when you're that tall, when you're that long, when you have the wide shoulders, you rehydrate a lot faster and a lot more than the shorter, compact, strong fighters.
All right, so last question for you. What should the punishment be, if there is any, for Richardson Hitchens not fighting tonight?
I think there should be a punishment financially because he let a lot of people down. The slot could have went with somebody else. Not strip him because he is ill. Not strip him over the title, but a fine and maybe make him understand that these slots are important and punish him a little bit when it comes to giving him the big slots in the next fight.
All right, we'll send it back to you. I'm sure Chris Mannix does not agree with Sergio saying he should not be stripped of the title.
What are you talking about? Don't strip him of the title after he had this happen where illness? You don't even believe that.
Did he make the weight, Chris?
No, he didn't. He did not. Well, he made the weight.
That's all I want to know.
He made
the weight. He made the weight. He could have defended the championship, but he fell ill after the weight. So that's it.
He fell ill because of how he rehydrated to the weight. I don't think you get a do-over on this situation. I think if this happens, you deserve to get stripped. I don't think it matters. I think it's academic. I think he's going up to 147 either way, and he's not doing this. But I think that title should be vacant. I think Oscar Duarte should be fighting for it.
Well said. I think, look, regardless, and thank you, Todd, thank you, Sergio, we're going to go back to our comms team a bit later. I guess regardless of the situation, whether or not we agree he should be stripped or not, I think he will be moving up, so that belt will become vacant. A good point everyone seems to be making about the weight classes in terms of fighting closer to your weight. And we've had this conversation for years, and I think we've seen guys that are moving up in weight put on better performances. Benavidez looks fantastic all of a sudden. Now he's jumping to cruiserweight. Hamza Shiraz looked really good against Edgar Berlanga. Shakur Stevenson, who I didn't think could really perform at 140, looks fantastic at 140. Is there a wider conversation with managers and trainers about fighters fighting closer to their natural weights?
Absolutely, Ade. I think it's an archaic way of thinking that Mannix knows all about it, right? These trainers and managers have these fighters boiled down to as small a weight as possible so they can have these size advantages in the ring, right? You have a 5'11" Ryan Garcia that was fighting at 135. You have like a 6'1" Mario Barrios tonight who used to fight at 122. And I want to point out on the IBF, the reason I have an issue with it is because the other three sanctioning bodies don't do it. And further to that point, right? The IBF used to make it so that if you fought in unification, you still have to do it. They got rid of that a couple of years ago. Now, if you fight in a unification, no longer do you have to do the same day weigh-in.
Yeah, it's the old Gennady Golovkin, Daniel Jacobs rule, where Daniel Jacobs said, you know what, IBF, you could stick your belt in the drawer. I'm going to fight for Gennady Golovkin's 160-pound title. Look, there are Joe Goosen is the trainer of Mario Barrios tonight. Joe Goosen has long been a proponent of same-day weigh-ins. He wants to see weigh-ins happen on that day for the official part of the fight. That might be a little extreme. It is something that happened over the years. Historically, it's been part of boxing's history. But I do think if you are going to rehydrate more than 10 pounds, you should not be fighting in that weight class. What does that represent? I'm bad at math. 8%, 7% of the total weight of Richardson Hitchens. If you are going to put on that much weight in less than 24 hours, you should not be fighting in that weight class.
Simple. There you go. All right, let's focus on fighters that are going to be fighting at this event today. There is a bit of a reshuffle as well, and I think it's a good one. Amari Jones versus Luis Arias, which is almost a prospect versus a former prospect, if you like, is now going to be moved to the pay-per-view portion of the card. Make sure you scan the QR code so you don't want to miss that. Just go to DAZN.com/boxing as well to buy the pay-per-view. It still is a really fantastic card, and there is still so much to look at ahead to. But let's look at the main event. Ryan Garcia bidding to become a champion for the first time. We were speaking, Mike, yesterday about all his contenders, all his contemporaries around him have all won world champions. Not just one, They've all won it in multi-divisions now. Ryan seems to be the only one sort of lagging behind a bit. He has to win this fight today. There's a lot of pressure, but he has to win this one today.
No, he has to win this fight, Ali, and he has to look good doing it. It's not going to be enough, in my opinion, to just have his hand raised at the end of the night. And this is really the 4th consecutive year that Ryan Garcia enters looking to win a big fight. You know, in 2023, he fought Gervonta Davis for a title at 135. That didn't go well. Sorry, it wasn't for a title. That was at 136. But a big fight there. Rebounds with Oscar Duarte. And then, of course, he loses to...
that was the no contest with Devin Haney.
Devin Haney, no contest, and he lost to Rolly Romero in a major upset last year, one of the biggest upsets.
Yeah, so he's had his opportunities, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's just, I think the only way he does win is spectacularly. I don't think he wins a decision against Mario Barrios. I think Barrios is a solid enough boxer to outbox Ryan Garcia, but I need to see that same fire, that same passion that we saw against Devin Haney. When he fought Devin Haney, even before we knew about the positive test, we looked at Ryan Garcia and said, Ryan Garcia is back. This is a guy that can still be a superstar in this sport. Fast forward to a year, and he was sleepwalking through that fight against Rolly Romero in New York. I want to see him take all of his punches out of the locker room and leave them in the gym. Just keep throwing that left hook, be aggressive, bring back the Ryan Garcia that we thought we saw against Luke Campbell, that we did see against Devin Haney. Mike, you were ringside for this fight. This was just not the Ryan Garcia that we're used to seeing.
No, it wasn't at all. I think you hit the nail on the head. Sleepwalking is the operative word. I mean, Ryan Garcia looked like he didn't want to be there. He told both me and you at his training camp last week in Calabasas that he had a really big hill to climb, right? 30 pounds overweight, coming off of the suspension, you know, all the toxins in his body from drinking and whatnot. So I'm expecting a better Ryan Garcia tonight. And if we don't see a better Ryan Garcia, this may be the last time we see him in a main event.
I don't want to give him an inbuilt excuse, but Times Square event, the crowd was flat. Let's be honest, it wasn't what it was used to. You mentioned the Devin Haney fight. We were both there for that at the Barclays, and that crowd was raucous. It was jumping, it was bouncing. He's going to get that kind of experience here tonight. Times Square, it almost felt like everyone was flat on that card. Obviously, Ryan more flat than most.
Yeah, that's fair. And like you said, right, Ryan Garcia is a guy that feeds off adrenaline. So I think that is a fair point to make. But we're talking about Richardson Hitchens missing weight. Ryan Garcia, he had the no contest with Devin Haney because of missing the drug test, right? The failed drug test. But also, he was 3.2 pounds overweight. So he had a massive weight advantage in that fight.
Yeah, he does need to look a lot better, don't he? But we do want to see the fiery Ryan Garcia. He's been a bit subdued all week. I mean, you were trying your best to kind of poke the bear at the press conference. You didn't get much out of him. Do we get that aggressive Ryan Garcia tonight like we got in the Devin Haney fight? That's what we want to see.
I think we'll see an aggressive version of Ryan Garcia. I think he understands the stakes in this fight. He has used the phrase do or die a lot in the build-up to it. And I think he knows, to Mike's point, that if he winds up on the losing end of this fight, he becomes a B-side fighter. Maybe he goes and fights on the YouTube circuit. We know he was a candidate to fight Jake Paul at the end of last year. Maybe his career goes in an entirely different direction. And look, he's not going to get a better chance to win a world title than this fight against Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios is one of those guys that's good at a lot of things, but is not shown that he's great at anything. And he's going to present Ryan Garcia with opportunities to throw and land those big punches. One of the reasons he went to go work with Joe Goossen is that he wants to be more offensive oriented. He wants to be a guy throwing more punches. That's great, and that can lead to some spectacular stuff from Mario Barrios, but it also can expose you. You throw that right hand, stick it out there, go ask Francisco Fonseca how that turned out. You start trying to mix it up and exchange with Ryan Garcia, go ask Javier Fortuna how that worked out. Exchanging with Ryan Garcia is dangerous. Do it at your own risk.
One thing we have seen with Ryan over the last 3 or 4 years, Mike, is this musical chair act he's doing with trainers. It seems to be another trainer in the corner every single time he fights. He's now gone back to his dad, and he kind of joked at the final press conference saying, I'm unbeaten with my dad, and that is a true fact. Is this the right decision to go back with his dad? Is he almost going back to basics a little bit here?
We'll find out tonight, right? But, you know, what always concerns me is, and I've heard these rumors, and I'm sure you guys have as well, is that Ryan Garcia likes to be the boss in training camp, and that's never a good thing. You know, you want the trainer to be the boss in training camp, and certainly you can't do that with Joe Goossen. Can you do that with your father, Henry? Probably, right?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about this trainer setup? Obviously, Henry Garcia, and look, they've obviously got a fantastic relationship. We see a lot of father-son relationships in boxing which go the wrong way. This one doesn't seem like that, but it is a strange decision to go back to his father.
I just think for the purposes of this fight, the last thing he should want to do is bring an entirely new voice. Like, he has had so many voices over the last few years, going to Eddie Reynoso for 5 fights, going to Joe Goosen for 3 fights, being with Derek James for this stage of his career, bringing someone else in, whoever it may be, I don't think that would have behooved Ryan Garcia. At least with Henry, it's a familiar voice. Trained him all throughout his life. So he was 7, 8 years old, up through the amateur ranks. They were 15-0 as pros coming up. I know they weren't fighting great guys, but there is a familiarity there. There's a history of success there. And Mike was in camp with Ryan just like I was. It does seem like they're falling back into an old rhythm that they had. And remember about Henry. Henry's been there for every one of these fights. Yeah. He didn't step aside and go hang out in the locker room when Ryan was fighting under Joe and under Eddie and under Derek James. He was in that corner dispensing advice at the same time. So he's familiar with where Ryan Garcia is at in his career.
Another man who has kind of switched trainers a few times over the last few years is Mario Barrios, but he might argue and say, it's worked for me. I am the WBC current welterweight champion. Let's get a bit more on Mario Barrios. Let's go ringside again to Sergio and to Todd. Gents, Mario Barrios maybe coming in as the underdog here, but very, very confident throughout fight week.
Yeah, indeed. Barrios has taken a lot of heat, a lot of criticism, Sergio, for having that draw with nearly 50-year-old Manny Pacquiao. But let's focus on the positives. He won the last 3 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards to earn that draw. He's a great closer, and we've seen Ryan Garcia towards the end of fights fade maybe a little bit. Could that be the difference tonight?
Maybe, but it's not that he's a great closer. It's just he doesn't really put a lot on the line every round. He just tries to squeak out quiet rounds and win. So if you get past the 6th, the 7th, the 8th round in the second half of the fight, and Ryan Garcia is in a tight fight, that's when Mario Barrios can actually impose his size, because he is going to be the much bigger fighter, taller, longer, possibly even stronger, but explosive hand speed is going to be on Ryan Garcia. So the quieter you are, the more you use that ring, if you're Mario Barrios, go behind that jab, keep that right hand right to the right side of your face, because that's going to be the only punch that you're going to be vulnerable to, the left hook. So avoid the left hook, land the right hands, keep that distance, keep that range, and avoid getting hit to the body. That's the one thing Ryan Garcia is excellent at. You can ask Luke Campbell. He got knocked out to the body. He's an excellent body puncher with that left hand. Mario Barrios is going to have to be really tight with that elbow tucked in.
Yeah, Gervonta Davis dropped Barrios twice with body shots. Are we going to see any new wrinkles tonight from Barrios, or what you see is what you get? You just deal with it?
No, you are who you are. I mean, he's already been to this level. I mean, he got to the championship level being who he is, so he's not going to change his stripes nowadays. I mean, he's on the championship level, defending that belt. You're going to get what you get.
So if you're instructing Barrios at the beginning of this fight, how do you want him to come out and approach Ryan Garcia?
Use the jab, and use the jab around the torso area. You don't want to really exchange punches with the faster fighter. You definitely don't want to exchange hooks with Ryan Garcia. So you keep it quiet. You try to avoid excitement if you're Mario Barrios. Keep doing what you've been doing your entire career. Just barely hang on, barely win rounds, and squeak these decisions.
And he's barely surviving. He's not winning. Back-to-back draws, Sergio. How likely is it that we're going to see 3 straight draws from Mario Barrios today?
I'm telling you right now, highly likely you see another competitive fight, because this is what this man does. He gets early knockdowns, but he also cuts. He also bleeds. He also gets hit. Mario Barrios, he's a fun fighter because he does get hit with shots and he does put fighters down, but it always goes into the decision. It always goes to the 12th round, and that's where Ryan Garcia starts to struggle in the second half of the fight.
Yeah, according to Eric Raskin, the last fighter to get 3 straight draws was way back in 1888. Can you imagine if he does it again here tonight?
The research that Eric Raskin had to go through, but shout out to him. I've seen plenty of back-to-back rematches, but 3 in a row, that's gonna be something I never heard of, but it's possible.
Yeah, it was Albert Griffiths from Australia back in 1888. All right, let's show you what else we have in store for you on the fight card here tonight from Las Vegas, Nevada. Obviously, the co-main event is canceled. As we send it back, I guess I'm not reading the fight card. Adi, they're giving that to you. I really wanted to do it.
Come on, Todd.
I'm willing to pass it off to you.
You're a professional, Todd. What's going on? And I love the stats as well. Todd's acting like he did that research for the stats when we know he didn't. All right, let's remind you of what we got coming up for you. Obviously, we have had, unfortunately, we've lost one, but we still got this Jones versus Barrios. Really good fight in the middleweight division. I love this one as well. Melakuzia versus Agbeko. Just because the 168-pound division is open for business right now, Melakuzia really wants to do that business. And then we go this one. A lot of people saying this could be the fight of the night. Martin versus Albright. They have spoken a lot of trash to each other throughout fight week. It really got heated at the weigh-in. Both guys want a title shot, 140-pound division. They might get it if they win. Russell versus Hirioka. We know the story about Hirioka getting in only 72 hours ago from Japan. He says he's ready. He looked ready on the scales yesterday. WBA junior welterweight title up for grabs in that one. And then the main event. We've been speaking about it for a while. Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia, WBC welterweight title on the line and up for grabs in that one. All right, we have some prelim fights for you as well. It is a busy fight week here in DAZN. It's a busy fight card. Janelle Rodriguez has a bit more information about the prelim fights and some stuff to tell us about what's been happening during fight week. 2, 1.
Thanks, Addy. That's right. I'll be capturing all the behind-the-scenes moments. Right now, we are walking into Ryan Garcia's locker room. Big night for King Ryan. And you can stay tuned across all social media by following us at DAZN Boxing. But that's not all. You can also be a part of this fight night by downloading the DAZN app and heading over to the Fan Zone. There, you can vote for the best fight of the night, best knockout of the night, and even give our panel some of the hard-hitting questions for them to fight over and to discuss. And that's not all. As you guys heard, we do have some free-to-air fights to look forward to before the pay-per-view action. Starting off with our heavyweight Joshua Edwards and Brandon Colantonio, and then we have Riyadh's very own Mohamed Alakel and David Calabro. All that and more, so don't go anywhere.
Thank you very much. Janelle Rodriguez, who's part of the DAZN team now, been doing a fantastic job all fight week. I mentioned a bit earlier that there have been a bit of a reshuffle because of what happened with Richardson Hitchens. So we do now have Amari Jones versus Luis Arias as part of the pay-per-view portion of the card, which is, I think, a really good fight as well. This is interesting. Wait till you see this. This is Luis Arias finding out that he's now part of the main card. This is what we like about the sport of boxing sometimes.
Oh no. Hitchens is out. It says he got sick. Please. What's up? Put on a good flight for you.
You know what I like there? He's like, okay, Hitchens is out, but that means I am on the pay-per-view card, which means a couple of extra dollars in the back pocket as well. We spoke about this fight. It's a really intriguing fight because there was a time when Luis Arias was that prospect. He ran into a certain Danny Jacobs, and since then it's kind of been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But I still think he could be dangerous to Amari Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. Opportunity knocks right now, right? And Amari Jones is a very quality prospect, like you said, former Devin Haney stablemate. But this is a big step-up fight for him. He hasn't fought this level of competition yet, so I think both these guys now have the spotlight on them, and we're going to see who delivers.
Yeah, and we have seen Luis Arias cause the upset before. It was a long time ago, 2021 against Jared Hurt, who was a big 154-pounder back then. He can do it. You just wonder what's left in Arias.
Yeah, when I saw Luis Arias a couple of fights ago, he had a pretty wide decision loss to Eric Priest, and that made me wonder kind of what does he have left in the tank at this point. But I think for Amari Jones, this is a great litmus test. It's a great barometer for where you are. Luis Arias has been in with a lot of top names in the junior middleweight and middleweight division. He has only been stopped, I think, one time in his professional career. If Amari Jones can come out, put on a spectacular performance, stop Luis Arias, that's going to be a nice feather in his cap.
Certainly will. But that's to come. Remember, that's part of the pay-per-view portion of this fight card. Just go to DAZN.com/boxing. You don't want to miss that. You can scan the QR code on the screen as well. All right, we have some time to fill, which is always good because we can talk a lot, but I know you don't want to hear us talk that much. You'd rather see from Mr. Ryan Garcia. Here's a little clip of On the Ground featuring King Ryan.
Feels like a do-or-die moment. I've already done this too many times to even be too worried about it. Don't worry about nothing else and start boxing. For this camp, we've been keeping it pretty with the same kind of pattern. You know, we wake up around 8:30, and then head to the strength and conditioning gym. We lift weights, we do conditioning drills, sprints, all that stuff. Then we take a minor 10-minute break, and then we head to boxing.
Today we're here strengthening, conditioning, fine-tuning for the last stretch. Make sure that the body feels right and that we are strong. Keep that pace. Keep that pace.
30 seconds. Last 30 seconds. Attaboy. Perfect.
He's totally in shape, and he can only get better, but he's already at his peak. I'm really happy and proud of him.
Attaboy, champ. Let's go. There you go.
Y'all see that one pimple right there in the middle of the nose? That means I'm reindeer. I'm Rudolph the reindeer. What was he? He was different. Santa wanted him. Nobody wanted him, but Santa did. Let's go. I'm different.
How I get to this point in training camps, you know, when I really dial in, and really pay attention, and really just go all into this, just like let my mind go. It's like you get into this mode where it's almost like just pictures playing in your head. Like when you're training, you're not even there really. You're just in a whole different dimension.
Ryan's intensity right now in camp is through the roof. It's absolutely superhuman type of stuff. I try to do some of the stuff, and I try to give some of my other clients that I work with some of his workouts. Can't even last a percentage of it, man. He's doing crazy numbers right now.
Last year was brutal because of the suspension he had, of the mental breakdown that he might have, you know, had caused because of that, knowing that he was innocent. But we were there for him, you know, as parents, you know, as father. I stayed with him and I told him, well, I'm here if you need me, but he went through a lot. So going into that fight with Rolando Romero, he wasn't like this.
Just treating my body like a temple, you know. What you put in is just as important. I was just so used to just being like a superhuman almost and just never getting affected by anything I put in my body. But I think as I got older, I started realizing, like, you know, I got to start paying attention to now what I'm putting in. This has been a great camp, I ain't gonna lie, and I'm excited for people to see the fight. I'm excited to be in the ring. Cannot wait till that bell rings, and I want to get to it.
Look at that, always beautiful, isn't it? The T-Mobile Arena, I think the best indoor arena that we've got for boxing. And there are so many good ones. Madison Square Garden, we've seen some fantastic arenas in London, which I maybe should be a bit biased towards, Saudi Arabia, but nothing, I don't think, beats the T-Mobile Arena. I want to quickly, we touched on it earlier, I do want to talk about Henry Garcia, because I look at Ryan, you went to go and visit him in camp, he does look happier. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because again, we saw unhappy Ryan put on the performance of a lifetime against Devin Haney, but he looks a lot happier with his dad around him full time in camp.
Yeah, he's definitely loose, and like Manik said, he's been with his father in his training camp since he was 8 years old, so there is a lot of comfort there. I don't know if comfort's a good thing for Ryan Garcia, but I want to see Ryan Garcia use that right hand. You know, we saw him use the right hand against Oscar Duarte. He's mostly a left-handed fighter, and once upon a time, Manny Pacquiao was only a left-handed fighter. He developed the right hand. I think that's going to be the key tonight.
Is it a full-time sort of commitment to his father now, do you think? I mean, I guess a lot lingers on whether or not he becomes world champion tonight, but if he does, is this it now, him and his dad forever? Or is there going to be a switch eventually again down the line?
I do think a lot of it depends on how he looks tonight. If he looks spectacular, knocks Mario Barrios out in the 4th round, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is what they say. So I think you could see Henry Garcia stay in charge of this team if he struggles. And even if he wins a decision, maybe Ryan decides to go to a veteran trainer. There's been a little bit of a thaw between Ryan and Eddie Reynoso over the years. Maybe he looks in that direction. I don't think Derek James, I don't think that was a acrimonious break between those two guys. But I think if he looks great, Henry's back behind the wheel of this Ferrari.
Yeah, I like it. Certainly, if it's not broke, why fix it? All right, let's focus on Mario Barrios as well, the current WBC welterweight champion. He has a familiar face in his camp as well. That man is Mr. Joe Goosen. This is On the Ground with Mario Barrios.
I've been champion now for a little while. You know, I think I'm definitely bringing the experience. Whether the attention's on him or not, it's not something that really like bothers me. Mindset is there's not much different. You know, still focus on you know the end goal, which is you know victory. You know on the 21st. But regardless, you know I have a dangerous Garcia you know in front of me, and a very unpredictable Garcia. So that's what you know I'm getting you know ready for.
Mario is one of the toughest champions I've ever worked with, and I've worked with some great fighters. A win, a loss doesn't faze him. He's ready to get back to work, and that's why you know he's always dangerous.
Part 1 done. I'm gonna go home, get some food, relax a little bit. I got boxing in a bit. Discipline in camp is just, you know, just staying on top of my workouts, staying on top of, you know, my meals, eating right. I was making some late breakfast, some eggs, some venison. Yeah, my family lives in San Antonio. My mom, my 3 sisters. My older sister, you know, she will come out to camp with me. My sister could have whooped my ass. Or probably until I was like 17.
He's in that rarefied category of cooperative champions. But you know what I found out over the years? The best guys always listen.
The dance floor.
Mario's been a great partner in this effort because, you know, sometimes you switch to a new trainer. There's a lot of new things being thrown at you. Mario really adapted quickly. He never complained. Great work. And guess what? We get to do it again tomorrow. Right?
It's gonna be a big win for you. You. Life changing.
Fight, you know, on the 21st, it means everything, you know, for me, for my career, for everything I'm doing, you know, in the sport. Continuing on fighting, you know, the biggest names, you know, in boxing, you know, the Conor Benns, and you know, all of the, you know, the top contenders. I think down the 21st, you know, you can just expect a very, you know, action-packed fight. I think this has, you know, potential to be, you know, fight of the year.
Mr. Mario Barrios there with new trainer Joe Goosen. Fantastic fighter, Mario Barrios. Remember, the current WBC welterweight champion. Make sure you scan the QR code on the screen as well. You don't want to miss this pay-per-view. And make sure you get Ultimate. Why would you not want to get Ultimate? Where you can get a minimum of 12 pay-per-view events a year, plus all the usual wonderful stuff. DAZN give you 185 fights nights a year as well, which is incredible. DAZN Ultimate is the ultimate package for fight fans across the world. Make sure you go to DAZN.com/boxing to get that. All right, gents, let's quickly talk about Mario Barrios and this link up with Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen, who we know loves a Canadian jacket. Is that what you guys call it over here? Canadian suit?
Canadian tuxedo, yes.
Canadian tuxedo, there you go, third time right. Joe Goosen, fantastic trainer, experience as well, obviously trained Ryan Garcia. Is that an advantage for Mario Barrios that he can get some of those little nuggets from Joe Goosen? I've been in the Ryan Garcia camp.
No question. I think it could only help, right? Joe Goosen knows what makes Ryan Garcia tick. He knows Ryan Garcia's weaknesses, his strengths. And besides that, Joe Goosen just one of the best trainers of the last 25, 30 years. Such a calming presence in that corner. I always think back to, of course, the incredible comeback from one of the greatest fights of all time, Diego Chico Corrales against Jose Luis Castillo, right? And you had Joe Goosen in there after Krause got dropped twice.
Looks the same. Looks exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. So I think it's going to be a good thing for Barrios. And I think Barrios is vastly underrated at this point. You know, he's getting a lot of disrespect, but he's a solid fighter.
Yeah, I have sort of heard that disrespect as well. I won't mention the names of people that have disrespected him just in case he wins tonight, but he has been disrespected. But you look at him, he's been in big fights, and he hasn't performed in all of them, but he's got the experience of being in those. Manny Pacquiao, big fight. Keith Thurman, Eugenius Ugas. He was on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, right? He's been in big occasions. This won't faze him as it does many other fighters.
No, he's been on the big stage from 135 pounds all the way up to 147, and I think this link up with Joe Goosen is going to yield some positive results. A couple things I've been able to glean from Team Barrios over the last couple of days. One is that they are going to be really offensive oriented in this fight. They're going to come forward. They're going to let their hands go. They don't believe that Ryan Garcia fights well backing up. They don't believe that he fights well on the inside. They don't believe that he's got, frankly, the heart and the toughness to withstand one of those wars in the center of the ring. That's what they're going to do. One thing somebody told me yesterday was that they have been just drilling home one thing to Mario Barrios. Drill after drill after drill. Like this. Right hand up. Keep that right hand right attached to your jaw. I wouldn't be surprised if they duct taped. You see what they duct taped? Mario Barrios' head, a right hand to his head. They are going to be on the lookout for that left hook, the same way Rolly Romero was. Rolly Romero gets a lot of criticism, but I thought Rolly had a great game plan going to that fight. He had that right hand up the entire fight. He was not going to let Ryan Garcia clip him with that left hook. That is going to be the strategy of Mario Barrios, and we'll see if Ryan Garcia has a little bit more in his bag to counter that.
Okay, that is our main event. Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. Again, scan the QR code you can see on the screens, or just go to DAZN.com/boxing to make sure you purchase the pay-per-view to see that event. You know, the one question I continually get every time I land feet in America is, when are we going to find another heavyweight? When are we, like, in a country that has 400 million people, can we not find another heavyweight? Our first attraction is a heavyweight fight. Joshua Edwards up for grabs. Everyone likes Joshua Edwards. Obviously, look, we know the amateur pedigree. Is he the guy? I mean, are we going to fast forward in a couple of years and this guy's 20-0, 15-0, and he's on the cusp of something big?
Look, obviously he's very talented. He looks the part. He's athletic, great amateur background. For me, Ade, it always comes down to two things with heavyweights, right? How can they take a punch, and how do they face adversity? And we're not going to find that out tonight, but this is really a showcase fight for Joshua Edwards as he looks to make his case for the next great heavyweight.
He takes on this man, Brandon Colantonio.
I love this guy. I'm putting all my money in this guy. I'm with this guy. This guy's awesome. Brandon Colantonio. This guy's awesome. Look, I agree with Mike on Joshua Edwards. I actually think Joshua Edwards is America's best hope for another heavyweight champion, which is not as profound a statement as it sounds, because there really isn't anybody else.
It did sound profound when you said it.
But it's not. Like, he's 5-0, 5 knockouts. We've called all his fights here on DAZN. He is a nice blend of everything. He has got good size. He has got excellent footwork. He's a 2024 U.S. Olympian. But one thing the Golden Boy folks tell me is that they're giving him a long runway. It is going to be a long time before Joshua Edwards is in with someone that you consider a real threat. 5 fights last year in 2025. I would expect 5 more fights here in 2026. And then 2027, we'll see what we got in Josh Edwards.
Indeed, let's see what we can do. All right, it's time for our first fight of the night, so let's go downstairs. Heavyweight action, let's go to Todd Grisham.
Well done, boys. Nice fill, as we call it in the business, but it's showtime as we get set for our first fight of the night. We jump right into the heavyweight division. There he is, Joshua Edwards, the Rocket from Houston, Texas, 6'3", 236, taking on Brandon Colantonio, 6'4", 236. Very similar in size. Let's see what happens. Let's go into the ring now. And Mr. Thomas Triber.
Live worldwide on DAZN. Let's first welcome to the ring from Canada, Brandon, the real life Rocky Colantonio.
This man does not look like your typical fighter. His name, Brandon Colantonio. His nickname, the real life Rocky. Sergio, does he remind you of Rocky Balboa?
No, he does not. But he does remind me of a character in Super Mario Brothers, Luigi. I mean, this is a man that very confident, very, he said all the right things, but he has a lot to prove because he lacks power, never been stopped. We'll see how he's going to be able to handle the big right hand from the Rocket and Joshua Edwards.
Coming off a decision win over Esra Lucifa. That was 4 weeks ago, and right back into the fray. By far the biggest test of his career is on the way.
And now let's welcome to the ring, from the United States, the undefeated, the Rocket, Joshua Edwards.
Pan American gold medalist back in 2023, 2024 Olympian, multi-time U.S. national champion. Sergio, how bright is the Rocket's future?
Very bright, because he has footwork, and nowadays, since Usyk came and slayed all the giants at 6'5", 6'6" plus, it was footwork that did it. So I think that's what Joshua Edwards brings. He's strong, great 1-2. You could tell why he was a successful amateur, because he's accurate with the punches, but he does it all behind quick feet.
And he does it all behind knockout power. 5 wins, all 5 coming by KO.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ring. High stakes. Barrios versus Garcia from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is being brought to you by Ring Magazine, Sella, and Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with TGB Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Thomas J. Henry Law Firm, Everlast, and IFX Payments. A big thanks to those great sponsors. We get things started with the big boys of boxing. 6 rounds scheduled in the heavyweight division. The judges are Eric Cheek, Lisa Giampa, and John McCarthy. Our referee in charge will be Robert Hoyle. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing white with green and red, and weighed in officially at 236 pounds. Coming to us from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, he brings a professional record of 7 wins, 1 defeat, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brandon, the real-life Rocky Colantonio. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing white with red and blue, and weighed in officially at 236.5 pounds. A 2024 U.S. Olympian, he is now undefeated as a professional with 5 wins. All 5 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Space City of Houston, Texas, USA, here is the Rocket, Joshua Edwards.
Okay, I went over my instructions in the dressing room. All punches land here on the waistband are good. All punches land here on the waistband are good. Obey my commands, give me a good, clean fight. Touch them up, scoot back.
Well, Sergio, we've been taught since we were little children, you do not judge a book by its cover, right? But you look at the difference between Joshua Edwards and this man, Brandon Colantonio, and what do you see?
I'm going to judge him by his cover. Colantonio he's a slugger. You know, he relies on exchanges, big right hand, but not as good of a right hand as Joshua Edwards. I'm gonna say this fight won't last too long once Colantonio does get clipped by the better puncher.
But never underestimate the power of a mullet. And that's what this Canadian has here today. 6'4", about the same size.
Good check left hand there by Colantonio that barely came up missing, but that's what he's going to have to do, punch with the Rocket. You don't want to wait and try to counter because you don't have speed on your side, so you're going to try to try to punch in between the shots and make this as ugly as possible if you're Colantonio.
Edwards already landed a right hand. And it's interesting, Edwards never makes eye contact with his opponent. There's a big right hand, but Colantonio with the chin.
And that's what I'm talking about. Very tough fighter, and Colantonio has never been stopped, but he also hasn't been hit by a real puncher like Edwards.
But look at Edwards' eyes. They focus on, it looks like the torso area of his opponents.
Because that's what he should be poking at. He should be jabbing down to the chest and the belly to set up the big right hand.
This is the heavyweight division, though. One punch could change everything if Colantonio could, keep Edwards honest a little bit. No one's taking him past the third round.
Colantonio doesn't have the power to do that. In 7 wins, 1 knockout, and he doesn't have the explosive speed either.
Well, Sergio, earlier we were debating whether this fight would make it to round 2. What do you think?
You know what? I still think once Edwards lands a really clean shot, he rolled with that first right hand. So right now, Colantonio is actually doing better than I expected by moving around the ring and not getting hit cleanly. But to answer your question, I'll be very surprised if he passes the second round.
Colantonio's switched southpaw there for a minute. Maybe he's got some skills you don't know about, Sergio.
Well, he'll be surprising me if he does. But look, other than durability, experience, and confidence, I haven't seen much.
Joshua Edwards, an American heavyweight prospect with real amateur pedigree, called the Rocket, from Space City, USA, Houston, Texas.
That's what Edwards needs to do right there. See how he threw that right hand downstairs? That's going to slowly lower the hands of Colantonio. Anytime you have an inexperienced fighter, he tries to dodge and parry punches with his hands. That's a big no-no.
Edwards looks just so nonchalant in there.
Because he's kind of he has nothing to worry about. He's walking forward with no worries for anything coming back.
Well, Colantonio, it appears, will make it to round 2.
There's that right hand shot. You could see that Colantonio try to roll with it, but he still got hit really cleanly. Can't be taking too many right hands from a right hand puncher like that.
Joshua Edwards looking to make it 6-0 with 6 knockouts. His last fight over Larry Gonzalez, he got a second round KO. Excuse me, that was Zeno Voris. That was in round 3. Larry Gonzalez was his first ever opponent. That was in April last year, one of 5 fights he had in 2025.
I want to see Edwards put into another gear right now with speed and pressure. He's cutting off the ring nicely, but he's not jabbing his way in.
Come on, work out. Hands free, work out, guys. Work out.
Has Colantonio landed a good punch yet?
No, and he hasn't really set his feet to punch either. And that's what Edwards is having issues with right now, just the fact that he won't sit down and fight. But whenever you got guys like that, you gotta put them in position to fight, and you jab your way in, start landing to the body. The body's not gonna move as much as everything else, so dig at them ribs.
Oh, he sat down on that punch, but Edwards
there we go.
able to get out of the way.
See that jab he's stabbing down there? Whenever you have a fighter with a flabby belly like that, just keep poking him down there because there's no muscle. He'll feel that. There you go. See how he doesn't like those shots. Simple jabs like that will break down Colantonio's guard.
Good stiff jab there from the Rocket as he switched stances for a moment. Oh, he sat down on that. Colantonio just got his chin out of the way in the nick of time.
Yeah, Edwards is telegraphing that right hand. He's putting way too much power behind it. He should be focusing on speed right now. Jabs, breaking him down to the body, and then that right hand will develop by itself.
You mentioned the footwork that Usyk has used to derail a lot of bigger fighters. Not that Edwards is Usyk, but he can also switch from both stances. He moves his feet so well. He's got plenty of pop. He needs seasoning,
don't you ever bring up Usyk's name.
You brought up Usyk's name.
Yeah, but I'm talking about him beating.
You just talked about Usyk's footwork causing bigger guys problems and how good Edwards' footwork is. I was building on a point you were trying to make, and now you're throwing me under the bus?
No, because Usyk has brilliant footwork. I mean, what we're seeing from Colantonio right now is not brilliant footwork.
No, I'm talking about Edwards.
Oh, Edwards needs to develop his lower body.
You think I was comparing Colantonio to Usyk?
I was about to slap you.
I mean, they both have body hair. That's about it.
See, right now, look, Edwards there's no jab. Right? So whenever you have a guy that's moving around like that, you need to force him to slow down by aiming at the chest with the jab, aiming at the torso, the belly, and backing him up.
No, you do have to. Touch, and you go B-side, A-side, the rest of the time. Red corner, red corner.
Round three.
Round three. No one has lasted more than 3 rounds with Joshua Edwards. Could Brandon Colantonio be the man to do it?
Oof, nice right hand right there to the belly by Edwards. We can see now that he's bending his body. He's making himself smaller to actually do what he needs to do to break down a fighter that won't stand in front of you, and that's a dig to the body.
Well, Colantonio's moved around pretty well, the ring. I mean, that's what you do against a fighter like Edwards, right?
Yeah, he's moving laterally, moving around the ring, staying in the perimeter. But, you know, I really think that Edwards is not closing that distance, and he's allowing Colantonio to use the entire ring because there's no jab behind that. So right here, you should be doubling and tripling the jab, backing him up to the ropes, and then you can unleash your power shots if you're Edwards.
The Canadian heavyweight, Brandon Colantonio, trying to crash the American prospect party.
And become the first man to go the distance.
Yeah, that would be
Edwards.
quite the feather in his cap. Or in his mullet. But this is part of the growing process for Edwards. He's got to be able to figure these guys out, right?
Yeah, you would think that he would know this, being an Olympian and having Ronnie Shields in your corner. You know, using your jab to cut the distance, to break that range, to land that right hand, and to hide that right hand behind long jabs. But if you're just following your opponent and loading up on one shot, you know, Colantonio's cagey enough to roll that shot off, take the power away from it.
Edwards takes pride on the fact that no one survived going into the ring with him. Wants to keep that knockout streak going. He has that calm, composed demeanor. Wants to stay busy. I mentioned 5 fights last year. Would love just as many this year, if not more. 25 years old. And Sergio, you look across the heavyweight landscape, it seems like in that division, the older you get, the better you get. I mean, look at the ages of Fury and Usyk and all the other top guys. Good left there to punctuate that combination.
Yeah, those are special guys that are able to do that. But right now, this is a young man's sport. The heavyweights, if you got power, the heavyweights can actually, you know, fight into the 30s. But Edwards, You know, this is a time at 25 years old to be knocking out everybody that they put in front of him, because you got the power, you got
good
the
left
youth, and you got
hand.
the experience.
That split the guard of Colantonio. So for the first time as a pro, Joshua Edwards will go into the 4th round. It is official. April 4th, Derek Chisora will face former world heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder in what will be his 50th professional bout. Not one to be missed, live on DAZN from the O2 Arena in London, April the 4th. What happens in that one, Sergio?
I'm going to favor War Chisora. He's on a roll. I love the fact that he's gaining confidence, and hopefully it's his farewell fight, knocking out the Browns bomber. If he can do that across the pond, that's the way you say farewell to a sport. Nice right hand. You can see Colantonio doesn't like those shots down to the belly. Keep doing that if you're Edwards, but keep popping that jab in his face. Keep that stick in the face of Colantonio.
All right, so how serious should Joshua Edwards get now into pushing this guy and getting the stoppage?
I think he's playing with his food. You know, I really think Edwards, you know, was enjoying himself. He's up waiting a little bit too long to set up that right hand, and I think he might be a little frustrated with the movement of Colantonio as well. Because Colantonio is not exchanging. He's not trying to win rounds. He's just trying not to get knocked out.
Oof. Good right hand on the inside by Edwards as Colantonio actually landed a punch.
Yeah, he did. At least he threw an overhand right that landed.
Yeah. Edwards has 3 first-round KOs, a second-round KO, and a third-round KO. Is he about to get his first 4th-round KO? Weird left hand.
Come on, hands free, work out. Stop.
I don't know if a knockout's in the cards here, Sergio.
Not if you're not going to set it up. Right now he tried something different. Instead of landing a 1-2, he came in with a 2-1. It rocked that head back, but you're not going to knock out Colantonio with the 1 or 2 shots. You need to put good combinations together. Edwards does have great combinations in his arsenal, but he's not letting them go here because he's having issues tracking down Colantonio's movement. And that's a red flag for a young fighter in Edwards. If you can't track down an older, slower, plodding fighter like this with jabs, it's not a good look moving forward.
Come on, let him go, let him go. Work out, work out, work
well,
out.
Colantonio's strategy, if it is just to make it to the end of the fight, has worked pretty well. He's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he already got farther than I thought he was going to get, and he hasn't really been hit like really cleanly, solidly. He's rolled with the shots, and he's taking the power off them.
Well, he's never been stopped before. Just 1 defeat, 7 wins, 5 coming by KO. Good body work coming upstairs at the end there was Edwards. He's going to dare Colantonio to come in the middle of the ring with him and trade shots.
Nice jabs there, but they're too heavy right there. Edwards is throwing really front foot heavy jabs. You should be baiting him in with quick snappy jabs, because every time Edwards does throw a right hand, Colantonio comes right back with something. So why don't you use that against him? Counter the counter puncher.
Good uppercut from Edwards to end the round.
glancing right hand thrown by Colantonio, and you could see when he unleashed that right hand, he was already expecting to get hit with something. That's a man that
sometimes you gotta roll the dice in Las Vegas every once in a while, don't you?
But you got to roll the dice with confidence, not with a grimace on your face before you land.
All right, round 5 now between Joshua Edwards, the hot prospect for Golden Boy, and Brandon Colantonio from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Colantonio in his athletic prime right now at the age of 29.
The age says that, yes.
I feel like Colantonio is the kind of guy you go buy a pizza from at the end of the night.
I just said that. He reminds me of Luigi from Super Mario Brothers. There's something about him. He looks like a hairier version of Chris Mannix by the pool.
Same skin color. Elmer's Glue White. Good jab there from Joshua Edwards. Still want to see a little bit more from him. I mean, he's levels better than this guy.
Colantonio just landed a big overhand right on Edwards right now. And he's been throwing and slinging that shot. That's the one punch in Colantonio's arsenal that he's been throwing. Edwards finally gets cracked by it.
Maybe Edwards needed to eat a shot, get a little upset. He's so calm and cool in the ring. It looks like he's almost not really even trying.
I want to say I'm more impressed with Colantonio than I am with Edwards.
Based on what you expected to see.
What I am expecting, absolutely. You shouldn't be struggling with a fighter like Colantonio. You should know how to break down fighters like this, make them slow down their movement, especially when you're an Olympian, especially when you got power.
Yeah, just waiting for Edwards to.
But Edwards is waiting too much. He's waiting too much. If Edwards lets Colantonio get to a decision, it's going to take a little bit of the shine out of the undefeated 5-0, 5 knockouts in Joshua Edwards. It just takes away the...
He's taken 5 steps forward. Now this would be 1 step back.
A little bit, yep.
Well, there's still time. A full round left plus 30 seconds here in the 5th. There's a jab from Colantonio, and he gets a smile from Edwards. But future opponents of Joshua Edwards will watch this fight and say, hey, if I just move a lot, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, move, use the outside of the ring, and exchange right hands with him occasionally, just like that.
Landed a right hand. Did Colantonio. This is his best round of the fight.
Yes, it is.
This is the 6th and final round.
Well, if Colantonio is indeed the real-life Rocky, he should be dropping Apollo Creed here in the final round, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Losing a decision, but still winning the crowd.
All right, let's see how aggressive Edwards gets here. Is he just going to be content to win on the cards for the first time in his career, or is he going to go for the gusto?
Well, if he's going to go for the gusto and get the knockout, he better implement that jab, because it hasn't been around. The jab, he's been throwing it but flicking it, but not to the land.
Oh, a big right hand from Colantonio. Looked like blood came out of the mouth there of Edwards.
Every right hand Colantonio commits to, he lands on Edwards. Not a good look.
What are you going to do if Colantonio knocks out Edwards here in the 6th round? Are we headed straight to the blackjack tables. Are we calling it a night?
I'm calling it a night. Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll just let Mannix bring us home to the rest of the fights here. Well, we said you don't judge a book by its cover. I don't think anybody thought Cole Antonio would go the distance with Joshua Edwards. And you know, Edwards looks like he's slowing down.
He looks uninterested.
Yeah.
He's not motivated.
And there's some Canadians in the crowd making some noise now. They like what they're seeing. Obviously, Edwards has never lost a fight, Sergio. He's never lost a round. But this one could go to Cole Antonio's way if he keeps it up.
This is frustrating. Very frustrating if you're Joshua Edwards. Missing shots like that, getting hit with big right hands, not being able to track down a fighter like Cole Antonio in 6 rounds. I mean, with the background that Joshua Edwards comes from as an Olympian, as a Pan Am winner, with a great trainer in your corner, you should be able to figure out basic fighters like Brandon Cole Antonio.
Good left hand from the Canadian.
Stop. I got you.
"20 seconds to go. Big right hand, and Joshua answers as well.
Cole Antonio threw a right hand, switching stances in between punches. Very dangerous thing to do, and he almost paid for it. He tried it there again.
Switched left hand through the hook, didn't quite counter.
Chopping right hand.
Hey, he might have won that round. All hail Brandon Cole Antonio.
He might have won the last 2 rounds.
Not much at all. All right. Feel good?
Feel great. Ready to go.
You know, Canada won gold in curling today at the Olympics, but right behind that has to be Brandon Cole Antonio going the distance with Joshua Edwards.
I'm going to shake that man's hands afterwards.
Get an autograph.
I'm going to get one of those shirts. I'm going to wear it proudly rolling dice tonight. Team Cole Antonio, baby.
I love it. I wish Chris Mannix could do the interview with him. Oh, I'm being told Chris is going into there. You got to get Cole Antonio too, please, Chris. We got to hear from him. Well, we got 3 world titles coming up tonight. 2 world titles rather than begin in the 140-pound division as Gary Antoine Russell makes the first defense of his WBA junior welterweight title against Andy Hiroka. To see that and the rest of the ring high stakes, head to DAZN.com and buy now. Well, what would you work on with Joshua Edwards back in the gym?
Jabs. Being able to double and triple your way in, aiming at the chest. More body shots, more upper body movement, because he was getting hit with right hands by a fighter like Cole Antonio. You don't want to get hit with somebody with a real big right hand.
Did Cole Antonio win a round? We're about to find out. The drama is thick. Here's Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all 3 judges, Eric Cheek, Lisa Giampa, and John McCarthy, are in agreement. They all scored the same, 60-54, all for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, the Rocket, Joshua Edwards.
So he does not win a round, but I did appreciate Thomas Triber with that dramatic pause before he announced 2-1. But hey, main thing for Joshua Edwards, he's still perfect, Sergio, 6-0.
6-0, but he doesn't have 6 knockouts no more. But look, on to the next one. This was the type of guy in Cole Antonio that could have played the spoiler. He went the distance, but he still didn't win any rounds.
Let's hear from Chris Mannix.
Joshua, congratulations. You get the win. You go the distance for the first time in your pro career. How'd you think about that performance?
Always, if I can't get my guy out of there, then I give myself a low performance. I could have kept my hands busier, landed more combinations. I got caught waiting because most guys running at me, so I had to go to him to throw me off.
You know, like a lot of people saw this matchup and thought you might breeze through him in the first couple of rounds. What made it so difficult to track him down?
He came to fight tonight. So he came to fight tonight. He came to get the win. But my head movement and my skills was able to make him miss most of the punches, but he actually was trying to throw. He was trying to hit me with punches tonight.
Still learning in your young career. What do you take away from a fight like this?
Listen to my corner. Stay busy right from the moment. I don't care if I'm uncomfortable or not. Go right at him and get it over with.
6-0 now as a pro. What are you looking to do in 2026?
Stay busy, always.
Congratulations, Josh.
Thanks.
Brandon, we'll turn to you. I think you have a few fans over here in the crowd. How did you feel about the way you fought tonight?
There's stuff I could have done better, I wanted to win. I was coming for the win, but he's a tough motherfucker, and that's what we expected. This is my third fight in the last 3 months. I've had 2 title fights, should have been both wins, and I'm just here to prove that I'm the true Canadian champ. I'm here to go to the States. I love how you guys treat me here. I'm always down. I'm representing the Pacific Northwest, and I'm the proud champion of that. So there's more things to come. This is just the start. I got to thank my lovely wife, Liz. Got to thank my coach, Jason Height, my teammate, Derek Medler, my promotion, Champ Promotions. I'm representing them. And if Golden Boy or anybody wants to have me back, I'm ready to fight. I'm always here. I'm always in shape, and I'll always bring a good fight. Never a doubt. I'm not like these rest of these Canadians sitting at home, doing nothing, failing drug tests. I'm a clean athlete. I represent the people proudly. I'm here to fight. I'm here to fucking fight.
Landed a couple good right hands there in the last couple of rounds. Think you had him hurt?
Yeah, I think if it was a 12, I got much respect for Joshua and his team, but if it was a 12-round fight, it's a different story. The longer the fight goes, I just get started. I'm a long-term, I'm a 12-round fighter. I'm born to do this.
Appreciate it, Brandon.
Thank you.
Chris Mannix, it had to be like looking into a mirror for Chris Mannix.
I'm telling you, they look like, minus the hair, that's Chris Mannix's long lost brother.
I love that interview. Hey, you don't always have to just interview the winner. It's nice to hear from the B side, so to speak. And I love how he threw all the rest of Canada under the bus. He said, "You're all lazy bums."
I want to see this man again.
All right, let's show you the highlights from Joshua Edwards. His first time ever going the distance, taking on the real-life Rocky, Brandon Colantonio.
And never did he lose confidence. The entire time Colantonio was trying to set up that right hand, even when he was getting hit with some big shots, occasional big shots by the bigger puncher in Edwards, Colantonio found a way to continue chugging along, throwing those right hands, moving around the ring, making it difficult. Shots like that kept a fighter like Edwards honest. Nice little chopping right hand by Colantonio, but Edwards was, not jabbing enough, trying to set up that right hand, and that's the reason Colantonio took advantage of that and went the distance.
So Joshua Edwards now 6-0 with 5 knockouts. Plenty more live action to come tonight, and a reminder that there's a whole range of programming to watch on DAZN.
Welcome to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record. I am your host, Max Kellerman. The ring's senior insider, Mike Coppinger.
We are here with Counter Ben, the man of the hour. Mike Coppinger here with the heavyweight champion of the world,
LaShawn McCoy.
That's right. Hey, man, listen, this is what I do. I talk boxing, I live boxing. You got a nice left hook, but I felt your hook. I can take that.
Let's go! Former heavyweight contender and world-class trainer.
The up jab was stop.
We go in the lab with Malik Scott.
Canelo missed every hook. Look at Haney's left hand. It's down under his hip, touching his knee, and it goes straight up.
The Mexican monster is in the building.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck, champ.
Virgil Ortiz coming up.
Thanks for having me.
Basically, you're not the toughest matchup for me.
I said stylistically.
You say Devin Haney
I said stylistically.
When I watch you, I get the feeling like I'm watching history. Look at that. Boom, boom,
Too loud.
boom, boom.
Inside the ring, baby.
Yeah, make sure you join Max Kellerman, Mike Coppinger, and the very controversial Shady McCoy for Inside the Ring. New episodes drop every single Monday. Just head to the locker room section of the DAZN platform, where you'll also find unwrapped It's our weekly review of the best moments caught on DAZN, and next week you can relive all the unseen action from tonight in Raw as we take a look behind the scenes at High Stakes for the definitive last word on Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. Loads of you are liking that show, and loads of you are liking Inside the Ring as well. Mike Coppinger, it's your baby. Obviously, I say controversial, Shady McCoy. He is controversial, isn't he?
He is, for sure. You know,
okay.
He was an amazing football player, and, well, American football, you'd call it.
Yeah.
But he knows his boxing, you know, and he has great charisma. We love Shady, but Shady's looking for you here, Ade.
I'm ready, Shady. Like, I need to get on the show. I need to come down and get on the show and go toe-to-toe with Mr. Shady McCoy. He always seems to have a go at the Brits. That's why I want to go on the show, because I always feel like he's Brit bashing a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we need to get you guys squaring up in Los Angeles.
I don't know about that. He's a big boy. I don't know about squaring up. What have you got coming on this Monday show?
Obviously, we're going to recap the great card we have here tonight from Las Vegas, Ade, and then we're going to look ahead to Emmanuel Navarrete and Sugar Nunez. That's going to be on DAZN a week from today. Can't wait for that fight. So we're going to have O'Shaquie Foster on the show to preview that fight. He could be looking at a unification, and we're going to have Hamza Shiraz, super middleweight contender, on the show.
Yeah, I love Hamza Shiraz. Obviously, we were both there for that ring card in Queens where he put on, I thought, a clinic against Edgar Berlanga. And the 168-pound division's almost open. Crawford's gone. Canelo will come back in September, but the belts are there for anyone to pick up. Hamza Shiraz could be picking up a nice, soon, shiny gold belt.
Yeah, he could be. You know, he has a great personality, great look. I think he has a big, big future in the sport. I love Christian and Bealey, of course. So, yeah, 168 is loaded right now.
Yeah, can we quickly just talk about what we saw just behind us a few moments ago? Joshua Edwards, 5-0. We laughed because we expected a bit more from Joshua Edwards. Obviously, look, Olympian. We know he's got the talent and the skill set. I think he was unlucky, or at least Colantonio was unlucky. That man there, real life Rocky, not to nick around. I felt sorry for him. I was like, just give him a round. Give it to Joshua, but give him a round. What did you make of Edwards' performance?
You know, I think Edwards, he has a lot to work on, obviously. He's a young, developing prospect. I think what Manik said was spot on. He's not going to fight anybody that's going to really test him anytime soon. And that's not a knock on him. That's okay, right? You have to build and develop heavyweights. Heavyweights are probably the toughest fighters to develop in boxing.
Yeah, and this is what you get, though, right? I mean, look, again, muscles don't win fights, but we all kind of had a little smirk when we saw Colantonio at the weigh-ins. He's gritty, he's tough, he's ready to fight, he's got an engine as well. He didn't look like he was slowing down. These are good rounds for Joshua Edwards.
No question. Hey, look, if I'm a matchmaker, I'm using Colantonio again and again against these kind of prospects. That interview was probably the highlight of the very short night so far.
Yeah, I'm using Colantonio at every single press conference. That's what I'm using for, because he was fantastic. He had the dig at Canadians, which I don't think is going to go well when he goes back to Canada. But again, he's the type of guy that you want to put in with your prospects, because you know he's not going to fall down easily. He's going to take a punch, and he can throw his right hand as well as he did in that fight.
Yeah, you know, these prospects need to be what I like to call progressive matchmaking, right? You step them up steadily, a little bit more here. Maybe you have a southpaw here. You have a guy that can move. You have a brawler. They need to spice all kinds of different styles, so when they do step up, that they pass the test with flying colors.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's look at our next fight. We've got Muhammad Alakal coming up next. And I almost feel like there's been a lot of pressure on young Muhammad Alakal. Obviously, he's been flying the flag for Riyadh and flying the flag for what they're trying to do in terms of growing the sport over there. He's now with Abel Sanchez, which won't be easy. We know what Abel Sanchez does when he takes fighters to Big Bear. You are running up mountains and cliffs. He's looking bigger and stronger, is Alakal.
He is, absolutely. I think he's developing steadily, and if you're a fighter and you don't like to work, you do not want to train with Abel Sanchez, like you said. I mean, strength and conditioning, these guys are in the best shape. We saw what he did with Gennady Golovkin, turning into a monster puncher. And look, it is His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh's dream to have crown a first world champion from Saudi Arabia. So there's two Saudi fighters right now with Abel Sanchez, Muhammad Alakal and Sultan Al Muhammad.
Yeah, David Calabro is an interesting pick. Obviously, look, he gets that phone call. He's like, absolutely, I'll take that shot regardless of it. One thing you can see just from these images here, physically he's a lot smaller, but he can box. He's more experienced. He'll be looking at Alakal like, let me get him now because he's green. Let me get him now while we're still trying to learn what Abel Sanchez is trying to teach him.
Yeah, this is a good time to probably get Alakal if you're looking to spring an upset. You know, like you said, a trainer has to really instill. He needs a couple of fights to instill the strategy, the style. And what I like about Alakal is look at the incredible opportunities that this kid is getting. You know, fighting on these major cards, fighting in a stadium here in Vegas underneath Canelo Crawford. So when he does step up, he's going to be ready under those lights.
I want to know what happens when Muhammad Alakal goes to York Hall Bethnal Green, because he always seems to fight in these big arenas. But look, very good experience for him. Remember, that is the last fight and will be the last fight of the prelim. Scan the QR code you see on the screen now to buy the pay-per-view. You don't want to miss it. Fantastic card, world title fights, including the main one as well. We are talking Ryan Garcia bidding to become a world champion as he takes on Mario Barrios. And why haven't you bought the Ultimate? It seems to make so much sense. The Ultimate, minimum of 12 pay-per-views per year, plus 185 fight nights a year as well. It just seems to be, I think, the best deal in town. Looks good, doesn't it, outside? By the way, I can tell you now, it isn't as warm as it looks. That looks really good. It isn't as warm as that, but it's good to be in Vegas for the big one. All right, let's throw it down to Todd to get this show on the road. What does the talent take for this one?
Indeed, Ade, our second fight of the night pits a man from Aston, Pennsylvania against Muhammad Alakal from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Alakal just 21 years old, 5'9", 5 inches taller than Calabro, who's 5'4" and 27 years old.
Let's continue, and first welcome to the ring from the United States, David D.C. Calabro.
David Calabro coming off his first professional loss, and he was stopped in the third round by Keith Colon. That was in October. And now jumping right back into another fight against Muhammad Alakal. What's Calabro's best path to victory against the taller fighter?
Frustrating, Alakal. Alakal's a work in progress. Even though he is a good 1-2 puncher, he's getting better every single fight. He's still learning on the job. So I think Calabro, who has a little bit of pop, has a pretty good right hand, could slow down the pace, frustrate Alakal, and loop his shots over the top.
And now let's welcome to the ring from Saudi Arabia, the undefeated, mighty Muhammad Alakal.
Well, Sergio, I think it's safe to say Muhammad Alakal has the brightest future of the young Saudis we've been able to cover here on DAZN, especially after Ziad Al-Muyouf, Zizo, lost for the first time to Kevin Castillo at MSG last month.
And it's no coincidence why he's developing, because he's training in the mountains of Big Bear with a world-renowned trainer in Abel Sanchez, who's teaching him and preparing him for the tough fights, probably getting better sparring and better preparation, and that's why he's learning a lot faster.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. Brought to you by Ring Magazine, Sella, and Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with TGB Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Thomas J. Henry Law Firm, Everlast, and IFX Payments. The judges are Kermit Bayless, Glenn Feldman, and Corey Santos. The referee in charge will be Chris Flores. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing white with red and green and weighed in officially at 128 pounds. Coming to us from Aston, Pennsylvania, USA, he brings a professional record of 5 wins, just 1 defeat. 3 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David D.C. Calabro. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing black trunks and weighed in officially at 131.5 pounds. Hailing from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he brings an undefeated record with 7 wins. 1 win comes by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Mighty Muhammad Alakel.
We got to have those tied up, these trunks, the ropes up front, or tucked in or something. Tug it. Wow, those are long, yeah. Let me get in here. Okay, gentlemen, we ran instructions in the dressing room. I expect a clean fight. These trunks over here, those are on the hips, so I want you to stay away from the belt line, okay? These are a little high. Can't see his belly button, so you get to work the belt line, okay? Touch him up now, go back to your corners.
So David Calabro, 5 wins, only 1 defeat, but coming off his first professional loss, trying to bounce back against Muhammad Alakel, who's become the face of Saudi Arabian boxing, looking to stay perfect. He brings in a 7-0 record. Chris Mannix, Todd Grisham, and Sergio Mora ringside. Chris, nice interview, by the way, with Colantonio.
I am a Colantonio stan. I'm here for him. I just said to Eric Gomez over at Golden Boy, bring him back. I don't know if you have any more heavyweights in your stable, but I want to see Colantonio back in.
Made a fan out of me, too.
Good jab there from Alakel. And when you're the taller fighter, that's the money punch. Keep the little guy away.
And this is what he's going to need against Calabro, who's a twitchy, herky-jerky type fighter, but he does have bad balance, so keep pushing him back with that jab, that snappy jab, and never let him break that range.
Yeah, what I'm looking for from Alakel is more muscle on his punches, more oomph on his punches. He's a pretty skilled guy, probably the most skilled of all these fighters that have come out of Saudi Arabia. He's been working with Abel Sanchez for a few fights, and we know Abel Sanchez, what he teaches, working with Gennady Golovkin, Terry Norris, Sergey Kovalev. He teaches power, so I want to see him sit down on some of these shots against an opponent like Calabro, who is coming off a knockout loss.
Good body shot there.
Alakel probably looks his best in his last fight against Jiaming Lee. Got a decision win, but dropped Lee in that fight and was never in danger of losing it.
I love the snap and the punches right now. Nice and relaxed. And you can see how the snap ends at the very end of that jab. That's what you want to see with fighters, and then turning it into a hook like that.
Look at the redness already on Calabro's face.
Yeah, and staying within yourself if you're Alakel. You know you got a little bit of time. You got 6 rounds to bust this guy up with that jab. That's how you do it.
Good left hook. And finally, Calabro lets his hands go. Sergio, I know you used to enjoy fighting taller fighters. I don't think Calabro's having a good time right now.
No, because he doesn't have the leg strength. He needs to actually use a lot of foot feints to get on the inside in order to fool a taller fighter and loop your shots. But you gotta bait him into that with a lot of speed, a lot of foot feints, and then jabs to the body. But he's not making it uncomfortable for Alakel. He's not jabbing to the gut or the chest. He's not, making him fall off balance with baiting him to come inside.
Yeah, Calabro only has that 1 loss on his resume, but if you look up and down it's not a lot or any really quality wins. So someone like Alakel, who hasn't had a lot of great wins himself, certainly on a different level.
And it looks like that so far here in round 1.
It's not going to happen. Step to this man and be first. Step to this man and be first. Okay? Don't be waiting so much. You're waiting like it's going to happen. He's going to give it to you. He's not going to give it to you. You got to make it happen. All right? Sorry.
Yeah. I got to tell him.
Good jab. Double jab. Double it. Because he doesn't know. Don't pull back after the first jab. He doesn't never do anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going to come. You give him 2 jabs and you'll set him up.
Okay. You understand that? Yeah. He's pulling back on you. He's pulling back on you every time.
Let's go. Everybody out.
I messed up there.
Stay back in the corner. Get back. Round 2.
Chris, how important is it that Alakel starts putting guys like this away and not just beating them on the scorecard?
Look, I think if you want to start having people take you seriously as a young prospect, collecting knockouts is important, especially when you're at this phase of your career. I mean, this is when most guys, add those knockouts to their resume, burnish their resume with these types of knockouts. When you get an opponent in front of you who has been stopped on a relatively low level, you want to try to pick up a knockout in this situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you don't really have to, totally knock a guy out on the canvas. You can stop them on their feet. They still go down as technical knockouts. And when you have the advantage in the height and the size, you can just put punches together and force the referee to stop the fights.
I like that attempt at a body shot down there for Alakel. You see the high guard from Calabro. I think he's open to some shots, especially on that right side of his body.
Yeah, you could tap the glove, make him raise his elbow just slightly, just to land the body shot to the liver. That's a go-to if I was someone like Alakel.
And Alakel doesn't have to go very far to get Calabro. He's right there in front of him. And this seems like the kind of opponent he should put away. And you heard Ronnie Shields in the corner, or excuse me, Abel Sanchez in the corner saying, look, go get this guy.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more pressure, a little bit more physical presence from Alakel, to force Calabro to open up. Because if he's just got him on the defensive with his hands up, you're not forcing him to open up to land something cleanly.
That's a great body shot there from Alakel. Big left hook to the body.
Calabro just having so much trouble trying to get inside that long reach. There he goes. Alakel, nice defense, had the guard up and the elbows tucked. Again downstairs. And then that jab backed him up. Maybe this is it. And down goes Calabro.
I'm telling you, that is a reaction to the body shot. Blood now pouring out of the mouth, or the nose, I guess, from Calabro. But that was a body shot from him. You see the right side of his body, redness all over it. Back-to-back good body shots from Alakel.
Alakel has got to finish this right here, right now, and I think he's done it.
3, 4, 5.
This fight's over, guys. He's not getting up.
And that's it. Muhammad Alakel with his second knockout, and boy, did he look good.
Mighty Mo with the mighty performance that he needed to turn them heads. That's how you start making a name for yourself. Alakel with the knockout.
And keep in mind, Sergio, we were criticizing a little bit about his performances, but he's only 21 years old. He's just getting started.
And learning on the job, Todd. I mean, this is a Saudi fighter that didn't have much amateur pedigree. He's learning on the job, and he's doing a great job doing that because he went to the body responsibly with the check, with the hands up. He checked his guard, bent his knees, and torqued the entire power into that liver.
And it's interesting, Sergio, because Calabro was so much smaller than him, 5 inches shorter. There's not a lot of body to work with there, but Alakel found it.
But when you're a taller fighter and you make yourself smaller by bending your knees and really digging around the guard, that's responsible. That's a responsible risk you're taking, and Alakel did it perfectly.
He's all smiles, and so is Abel Sanchez. Hey, there's a lot of pressure on Abel Sanchez to deliver the goods with this guy.
No, there's a lot of pressure on both, not only Abel Sanchez, but a longtime renowned Southern California trainer in Ben Lira. I mean, it's a perfect team with both of them. They have a lot of fight IQ in that corner, but Alakel is a student that's learning. Threw away that right hand just to try to check him with that hook, but there you go. It was that short right uppercut that busted up the nose of Calabro. See, that's a beautiful combination. Nice jab, got him off on the back foot, off balance, checked him with that left hook, popped him with that right uppercut, right on the nose.
And there's a body shot, man, right on the liver.
You could see the pain in David Calabro opening his mouth after getting hit with that shot. Grimacing in pain, there was no way he was going to get up.
That looks similar to the Ryan Garcia punch to Luke Campbell all those years ago.
And we see how Luke Campbell reacted. The same exact way on that one knee.
Well, kudos to David Calabro for showing plenty of heart, getting up the first time, trying to continue, but just wasn't on the level to deal with Muhammad Alakel. All right, Thomas Triber makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 27 seconds of round number 2. Our referee, Chris Flores, waves it off. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout. And still undefeated, mighty Muhammad Alakel.
Well, Sergio, usually I say what these guys need to work on going back in the gym, but let's just celebrate how far Muhammad Alakel has come.
No, celebrate Alakel, celebrate the corners, celebrate how fast he's learning, because every single performance he's getting better and better, stronger and stronger and more confident.
Yeah, in his last fight I said he looked great against Jiaming Lee. He dropped the Chinese fighter but wasn't able to finish him tonight. He didn't let Calabro off the hook, and he's now 8-0 with 2 knockouts. Coming up on DAZN, it's our main event. The champ, Mario Barrios, back-to-back draws, looking for a win now against King Ryan Garcia, who's trying to bounce back from that lethargic performance against Rolly Romero. That's our main event tonight in Vegas.
Is it the left hook, coach? Is it the left hook?
So Muhammad Alakel in Las Vegas gets the win. He also fought in Sin City back in September on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. So he likes being in the fight capital of the world.
Very, very good performance there from young Muhammad Alakel. And look, he still is young, and they mentioned it on the broadcast. I always feel like we put a lot of pressure on these young fighters, but he's delivering. He's looking really good under Abel Sanchez. I mean, we said, what would Abel Sanchez bring to young Muhammad Alakel? And it's clear, punch power. That's what he's brought to him.
Yeah, Mexican style, right? As Triple G used to say. Of course, Abel Sanchez is a Mexican-American, and like any good Mexican fighter, you want to see that big left hook to the body. So I like what I see from Alakel. I think he's steadily developing and improving, and I think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, this man's in the building as well, who's changed boxing in the last couple of years. He's Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority and owner of Ring Magazine. He loves Muhammad Alakel. And you can understand why. Again, look, I said this. The vision is to see boxing grow in Saudi Arabia. And Muhammad Alakel's perfect for that vision. And he's perfect because he's looking good.
Yeah, and he's a great kid, too. He's a very personable kid. He represents Saudi Arabia, I think, very well, and he has the big backing behind him. So as long as he keeps putting in the work with Abel Sanchez up in Big Bear, better him than me, of course. I don't want to be putting in that work. I think we're going to see a lot of big things from him in the future.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with a young Muhammad Alakel. Obviously, look, activity is key. Let's see if we can get 5 or 6 fights, maybe even more next year. He wants to be on all these big cards. He must love this, coming out to all the big shows as well. And I know His Excellency is going to want to hear from Muhammad Alakel. So let's go back to Todd Grisham. I think Chris Mannix is going to be in the ring with an interview with the young man.
With the winner, Muhammad Alakel.
All right,
Congratulations. Pick up another win, get your second professional knockout. How'd you feel about that performance?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, I felt good. You know, feeling comfortable every time I step into the ring. And then, alhamdulillah, I got the knockout today. And I like to gift it to His Excellency, so, yeah.
We've seen some skill from you early in your career. This was an example of the power. You're working with Abel Sanchez. I feel like I've seen some of those body shots before from a Gennady Golovkin, from a Sergey Kovalev. Has that been something you've been working on this camp?
No, I feel like, you know, the experience has helped a lot, you know, fighting in these big shows and finally it's all coming through, yeah.
When you're looking forward to the rest of this year, what are some of the things that you're looking to do?
I would like to just stay active. You know, I feel like staying active will help me reach the top. So the more fights I get, the better I'll get. And yeah.
What have these camps been like working with Abel over these last few fights? What have you guys been drilling down on?
I mean, he's the best in the business, so I'm really grateful to be working with Abel. And it's been really good, learning a lot.
Do you feel like the power is going to become an even bigger part of your game as your career moves forward?
Yeah, I'll be knocking these guys out.
Congratulations, Muhammad.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
young Muhammad Alakal there, man, a few words, but one that does always talking and action in the ring. Look, it's been a busy weekend of boxing. We were in Nottingham a bit early. We're here in Las Vegas, and it continues tomorrow as well. The GOAT is back in Detroit. She takes on Franchon Cruz DAZN.
I've carried expectations my entire career. I learned how to win when everyone want to see you fail. I end stories.
Failure's never been an option for me.
This fight ain't about proving nothing.
Nah, this fight is about exposing everything.
February 22nd, come and watch me defend my undisputed world championship.
Clarissa Shields versus Franchon Cruz DAZN 2. It's a rematch of their fight back in 2016. Look at this one as well. Sugar Nunes versus Navarrete. That one next Saturday. And then a couple of big ones in the UK. A couple of big boys as well. Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder. 50th fight for both. Could be Chisora's 50th and out. Wilder wants to continue that one Saturday, April the 4th. And then this one, I think the battle will decide who is numero uno in UK. Is it Fabio Wardley? Is it Daniel Dubois? World title on the line as well in that one. Those heavyweight fights are fantastic, Mike.
Yeah, look, I really hope Deontay Wilder's focused on Derek Chisora and is going to stop crying about Fury at some point. Chisora's a bad boy, and he better be worried about him.
Who do you favor of Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois?
That is really a tremendous action fight. I think it's going to be bombs away. I lean slightly to Daniel Dubois. I like his experience. No shame, of course, in losing twice to the GOAT of heavyweights right now in this generation, Alexander Usyk. So I'm going to lean slightly to Dubois, but it's a coin flip, I think.
When you see that schedule, it's the reason why to get Ultimate, people, honestly, it's fantastic. Get Ultimate 12 pay-per-views, minimum per year, 185 fight nights as well. Just go to DAZN.com/boxing. And remember as well, the prelims are over. In order to continue watching us here for the pay-per-view portion, you are going to need to scan the QR code. All right, I want to quickly talk about young Muhammad Alakal, just because I'm so impressed with him. Previously trained by Joe Gallagher, now moving to Abel Sanchez, where he feels like he's thickened out a little bit. The punch power's there. He's sitting on his shots. He's looking really good.
Yeah, he's a young kid, and I think he's maturing rapidly. You see, like you said, he's maturing physically. I think he's mature beyond his years mentally. So again, as long as he keeps putting that work in, I think there's no better trainer than Abel Sanchez. Talking about, you see the left hook right there. That's a calling card of Abel Sanchez right at the summit in Big Bear.
Bit of Ryan Garcia as well. It's a bit of Canelo, that, isn't it, where he disguises it. And you can see he disguises it because you don't know if he's going to send it to the body or up top. And I think that's, again, that's experience. That's listening and learning.
That's great analysis.
I do try. I do try.
You do it all. You can host. You can do analysis. You're right. Canelo Alvarez is so good at disguising it. It looks like it's going upstairs and then boom, downstairs. So, again, Muhammad Alakal obviously has big backing, so he's going to get big opportunities, and he looks like he's capitalizing on them right now.
It'll be interesting to see what weight class he lands on, because you look at him, and again, young guy, he's going to fill out. He's growing. Every time I see him, it feels like he's got an inch taller. He loves this as well. I mean, this must feel good, right? You're fighting in front of, yes, it's not many people, it's a big show. It's a big show. He's getting these opportunities. He seems to fight on every single big show. What great experience for the young man.
Yeah, and what great experience it must be, right, to have to leave Saudi Arabia and fly all the way to California to train in the mountains. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that when I was that age.
No, I couldn't either, but it's a great opportunity for him, and it's certainly an opportunity that he has taken as well. There has been a bit of a reshuffle, just to get you back up to scratch with the news. Obviously, Richardson Hitchens is off this card. The Oscar Duarte fight won't happen. It'll be interesting to hear from the IBF. A lot of people have been speaking about Richardson Hitchens. Does he get stripped? What does the IBF do? Does Oscar Duarte fight for a vacant title? It is a great card, but this is a big miss.
It's a huge miss. You know, I think this was going to be the most action-packed fight on the entire undercard, maybe on the entire show, right, Ade? And Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter of Oscar Duarte, I saw him posting on his favorite platform, Instagram. He's upset. He said he wants an investigation. I spoke to Hitchens' manager.
There will be a clapback Thursday. There will be a clapback Thursday.
It's going to be directed at one Richardson Hitchens, I think, and maybe some other parties involved with him. But I also spoke to Hitchens' manager, Keith Connolly, and he said, look, Mike Fighter, he made the weight both 2 times. Yesterday at 140 and today under 150. And afterward, he just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. And he got sick and he started vomiting and he just couldn't fight.
Hopefully that means a jump to 147, where there are so many big fights. Me and you have been speaking about the 147 division quite a lot, just because, again, it's open for business. Devin Haney, clearly the #1 in there, but there's an opening for someone to come and take that #2 spot. Richardson Hitchens could be that guy.
Yeah, and there's loads more guys coming up too, right? You have Teofimo Lopez, who says that he's going to 147 for his next fight after that loss to Shakur Stevenson. You have Keyshawn Davis, who just debuted at 140 already. He's looking at 147 too. He wants Devin Haney. So I think 147 very quickly is going to become one of the best weight classes in boxing.
It certainly will be. All right, we're going to focus on this fight card very, very soon, but there is a big fight card in Detroit tomorrow. It's headlined by the GOAT, Clarissa Shields. She takes on Franchon Cruz DAZN. They were nice, they were okay, and all of a sudden, at the weigh-in, they went nose to nose, face to face. I don't mind a little beef, I have to be honest with you. When it's made up, I'm not a fan of it. This, though, seemed to get really hostile very, very quickly, to the point where people were being thrown off the stage. This just adds to the animosity between the two ladies now.
Yeah, look, I mean, they fought for the first time 10 years ago, so no love lost there. Clarissa Shields, you know, she's pound for pound 1 or 2, depending on what you like in women's boxing.
Wait, go back there. What do you like? Where is she?
I think she's #1 for me, but a lot of people would have Katie Taylor ahead of her.
I may be one of those people, but look, who cares about what Ade thinks? Look at this.
Oh, my God.
Look at this, by the way. That's Franchon who's just gone off the stage.
Yikes.
Look at this. Okay, whoa.
This is the first time I've seen this.
Wow. Okay, see, this is when, although I don't mind a bit of back and forth, this is what I don't like to see, and this is what I don't like to see in the sport of boxing, because this is when it sort of spills out to people who are not involved in the fight, and then it just gets a bit silly. Obviously, look, big security there, so hopefully everyone can be calmed down, and this can still happen on Sunday night, but this is what we don't want to see in the sport of boxing. Get rid of this kind of nonsense.
Yeah, this is a black eye for boxing. We don't like this. But my takeaway, Ade, is I'm happy we're not in Detroit. It looks like it's freezing there. You see those giant jackets. It's cold enough in Vegas. And it's funny, like you said earlier, people always think of Vegas and the warmth and the sunshine.
No.
It's been freezing here. I actually forgot my coat.
I was going to do a turtleneck in Vegas. It ain't great right now in Vegas, but it will hot up because of what we've got coming behind us in a few hours. On Clarissa, and look, this is certainly not looking past Franchon Cruz DAZN. It almost feels like Clarissa is starting to kind of lap her fighters in and around that weight class. Again, I mentioned the fact that she fought Franchon back in 2016. What does Clarissa do if she comes through this one?
I think Clarissa, you know, she has to start looking at maybe moving a weight class down if that's possible. I can't say what's possible for her, but the problem is that there just are not many active women fighters at her weight. She's running out of opportunities for big fights, right?
Yes, she is. Lauren Price may be down the line. We'll see what happens there. Michaela Mayer, who's working on the broadcast tomorrow, could be an option as well. All right, that is Sunday. I mean, this is going to be a ridiculous weekend of boxing on DAZN, and I think the easiest way is to get DAZN Ultimate. I mean, look at this, 12 pay-per-views, 1 subscription, a minimum of 12 pay-per-views, 185 fight nights a year on DAZN. Join the club. I'm in the club, Mike's in the club. You should get in the club too.
The first rule of DAZN Ultimate is the first rule of DAZN Ultimate is you do not pay-per-view. You do not. You do not pay-per-view.
Do not pay-per-view.
The Ultimate Fight Night is here. You do not want to miss this.
Second rule of DAZN Ultimate is... Second rule is you don't pay-per-view.
Because Ultimate gives you a minimum of 12 pay-per-view fights a year.
At no extra cost.
The only rule of DAZN Ultimate,
you do not pay per view. So join us ringside and welcome to DAZN Ultimate.
Look at this man looking for the biggest win of his career. Young Amari Jones, unbeaten, takes on Luis Arias. A battle of youth versus experience. And look, again, we're very disappointed about what happened with Richardson Hitchens, but what it does mean, it means Amari Jones goes into the pay-per-view portion of this, which is very, very good for him.
Yeah, that's the great thing about life, right, Ade? When somebody loses an opportunity, somebody else gains. So we're going to see if Amari Jones can capitalize here. He's a good-looking prospect. Luis Arias, toughest test of his career. And Arias has been on a really tough stretch, so he needs a big performance, too, to stay relevant.
Yeah, we're just having a look at Arias' record because sometimes you forget who he's fought. And he's fought a lot of big names, but unfortunately, since the Danny Jacobs defeat, it's been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But he's due a win. is Luis Arias. And I mean, this will be one way to kind of spoil the apple cart to beat the young Amari Jones.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, right, he is no stranger to pulling off the upset. He pulled off a major one a couple of years ago against Jared Hurd.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to do it one more time if he wants to stay relevant and keep getting these kind of paydays.
Okay, that will be the first fight of our pay-per-view portion of the card. So you know what to do. Scan the QR code right now. Just go to DAZN.com/boxing to buy the pay-per-view as well. You don't want to miss this one. And 2 is going to become free in the studio because we're going to welcome in, I think, the pound-for-pound king of boxing right now. Young Mr. Shakur Stevenson's in the house. He's going to join us. You should join us well. We're going to see you in a few moments to kick things off right here in Vegas.
Live exclusively on DAZN. On the world's biggest stage, a champion with a disputed crown. A self-proclaimed king without a throne. Both have a point to prove.
Barrios with a one-punch knockdown.
This kid is a superstar. Can one of the biggest names in boxing finally be crowned world champion?
It's going to be a hell of a fight.
Barrios versus Garcia. Watch only on DAZN.
We are live from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the Ring High Stakes headlined by a WBC World Welterweight Showdown between Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia.
I don't want no easy fight.
I'm gonna bring the violence. You don't want the smoke.
We're gonna fight, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
I don't need a spotlight.
We'll see who's the better man that night. It's a dangerous fight for me.
Big guy and a hell of a fighter, man. I really like this kid.
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
And I'm never afraid. I'm trying to tell you, I have a spirit of competition in me.
You're out of your depth.
And he's gonna be looking to become one of the faces of boxing by beating me.
Vegas is gonna win this, the fall of King Ryan.
I'm just being whatever I want to be.
He has a lot to prove, and we'll see what he can do.
That dude don't even scare me.
If he want it, let's get it. And whoop his ass.
Watch me fight live on DAZN.
Show me who you are.
Yeah, Barrios versus Garcia tops the bill here in Las Vegas, but we kick things off with, I think, a really special fight. Amari Jones versus Luis Arias. That one, a showdown in the middleweight division. And look at these boys as well, the big boys, 168 pounder. Bektamir Melokuziev takes on Senior Adbeko. That one in the 168 pound division, which is now open for business. Everyone wants the titles that, again, Terence Crawford has vacated. And then we go to the 140 pound division. Frank Martin takes on Nahir Albright. A lot of people are saying this could be the fight of the night, and I agree with them. Two guys, whoever wins wants a world title shot. They certainly could get one. We know how good the Russells are, and this man's very, very good. Gary Antoine Russell takes on the unbeaten Andy Hiraoka, who's flown in from Japan on late notice for this one. Remember that one for a world title crack as well. WBA Junior Welterweight title up for grabs. And then it is our main event, Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia for the WBC welterweight title. Will King Ryan finally be crowned, or will Mario Barrios defend his world title once again? Look who's with us in the studio, the king of the 135 pound division, the king of the 140 pound division, maybe the king of the 147 pound division soon as well. Shakur Stevenson, how are you, my man?
What's good, what's good, what's good?
He's looking good as well. You're looking very, very good, sir.
I should have wore a suit, though.
I
got the suits on.
I don't know. I feel like we should be wearing the T-shirts. I think the T-shirts is a bit more casual. Shakur, how's it been for you in the last couple of weeks? Obviously coming off that incredible performance against Teofimo Lopez.
It's been amazing. I've been sitting back and chilling with my daughter and spending time with my family, and it's been amazing just sitting back and watching the fight over and over and over and seeing things I could work on and seeing things that I did well. So it's been amazing.
Shakur, there's not much I can see you can work on. I've watched that fight about 10 times and it was almost perfect. I mean, it really wasn't wrong. You must have watched it back. Go through the fight with me if you can remember everything in that fight. Just how good a performance was that from yourself, especially considering who you were fighting against?
I think it was like a 9.5.
There you go.
But from like the first round, I kind of got his respect with my jab.
Yeah.
And once I got his respect, It was a long night for him. In the second round, I threw my left hand, and once he seen my left hand was strong, he had respect for my power. So he's an amazing fighter, but he had a lot to deal with that night, and I just proved that I'm one of the best.
I love when you say that. He was an amazing fighter because he is, and sometimes when people put in a performance like you do, everyone likes to critique your opponent. It wasn't that Tio was bad, it's that you were very, very good.
Yeah, Tio is definitely a great fighter. He has good defense. He understands range and distance, but he just was up against a better fighter that night, and two elite fighters put it all on the line. So I just hope the boxing fans respect both of us for it.
Indeed.
Yeah, Shakur, I'm wondering.
Hey, you guys are friends now. This is strange to see. Look at this.
Shakur, I'm wondering, right, before you got here, we were talking about what happened with Richardson Hitchens. Obviously, you know, this fight's not happening tonight now. He fell ill after the second same-day weigh-in. You moved up to 140, and you looked your best, in my opinion. How many fighters do you think are fighting at the wrong weight?
I think a lot of fighters are fighting at the wrong weight class. I think a lot of guys are too big for a certain division, so when they fight at that weight class, they're going to have troubles and illness and stuff like that to happen. But I hope that he recovers well, and I hope that everything is okay and he is good.
You know, it's funny. I laughed and joked about you two now being friends. Mike, you put this tweet out. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. You put out a tweet which made me feel like you guys. Oh, this is it. I like this.
Man,
this is it. Look at this. What's going on, Mike?
Hey.
Mike? Who put this together for you, Mike? This is ridiculous.
Hey, that was not me. I created that, obviously.
But you put it up, Mike.
I put it up because I found it funny. I can have a laugh at myself. That was our social media person, Kendall Bennett, who does a great job for us.
No, he did a great job. Indeed, he did. Indeed, he did. On that Teofimo performance again, there's one thing that you said, which I think maybe summed up the night. You went back to your corner and you said, he ain't that strong. I feel so much stronger than him.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you as well? Because everyone looks at Tio as a really big 140-pounder.
No, it didn't surprise me, but when I went out there and I felt his power, and then I seen that he felt my power, I'm like, okay, yeah, we in it tonight. And yeah, he's a strong fighter, but strength don't win fights. Skills win fights, and I think skills took over that night.
Mike, I want to ask you, and Shakur, you can jump in on this one. I think it was Shakur's best performance. Some might say Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez was really good. I thought it was a
Jamel.
Yeah, Jamel, considering who Jamel is as well. Was that his best performance? Did you think Tio was the best performance?
Yeah, no question. Obviously, the last one was the best one. But look, Teofimo Lopez was on pound for pound list for a reason. You know, he beat Josh Taylor. He's the man who beat the man. So that's why, and people have been coming at me on Twitter saying, oh, we don't know who the King 140 is. No, the King is standing right to my right. You're the man who beat the man who beat the man. You're the lineal and Ring Magazine champion.
Yeah, I think that at 140 pounds, for me personally, none of these guys can beat me. They are great fighters. There's a lot of great fighters on this card, but I know for a fact that I'm the best fighter at 140 pounds, no question. Tio proved it when he fought Josh Taylor and all the bigger guys and almost was undisputed, and I proved it by beating him the way that I did. And people forget, in Times Square, New York, when he fought Arnold Barboza, he was the best fighter on the card.
Yeah, he was.
And
no
then
question.
he fought me, and now he's the worst fighter in boxing. So
that's what you've done to him.
Yeah,
that's your fault.
Yeah, but I think it's just skills.
It is skills, and you clearly have skills that pay the bills. Let's talk about two fighters now in our main event. Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. You've been linked with Ryan in the last few weeks, maybe a fight at 144. Before we talk about Ryan, I want to quickly talk about Mario. I feel like he's getting a lot of disrespect, Mario Barrios. He is a champion. You know how difficult that is to be a champion. Do we need to put a bit more credit on Mario's name?
I think that, yes, we do, because I think he's the more disciplined fighter. And with him being a more disciplined fighter, he could cause a big upset tonight. So I think a lot of people will be shocked by how disciplined he is in the ring, and I can see him coming out victorious.
And he's very big as well, Mike. We looked at him on the scales, and you can see that physically he's a lot bigger. Look, Ryan looks in great shape. And you tell that Shakur smiles as he sees. Ryan is in great shape. But Mario's a lot bigger than him, and will be a lot bigger come fight night as well. Is that going to be an advantage for Mario that size?
No question. I mean, I cannot believe that Mario Barrios used to fight at 122. I mean, talking about fighters fighting at the wrong weight. He has a very strong jab, in my opinion. He has good fundamentals, and Shakur is right. He is very disciplined. You know, he trains hard. Joe Goosen does not let you cut corners in training camp. So, is Ryan Garcia more talented? Yes. But a lot of times, it's the more disciplined, more focused fighter who wins.
What do you mean? You know when you say Mario's disciplined. Are we saying that maybe we feel like Ryan hasn't been or isn't?
Yes, for sure. I think in Ryan's last fight when he fought Rolly Romero, you could see his discipline cost him. So he should have been disciplined for that fight. So we'll see tonight.
We certainly will see tonight, right? A new trainer. His dad, I say new trainer, his dad's trained him before. What do you make of this current switch of trainers? It feels like it's been a lot of trainers for Ryan over the last 5 or 6 years.
I think that he's comfortable with his dad, and I think that's good for him to go back to his dad. That's smart. That'll help him out for sure, because his dad gonna tell him when he's wrong and when he's right. He's not gonna sugarcoat him. So it's a great link up.
And this link up as well, Barrios going to Joe Goosen. Is this mind games? Is just trying to get under the skin of Shakur Stevens? Sorry, under Ryan Garcia to say, look, we've had your trainer before, or is this a serious? Like, we know how experienced Joe is.
I don't think it's a trick to get under his skin. There's no way he's just thinking like that. I think he thinks that Joe Goosen is going to help him in the fight, and maybe he will, maybe he won't, but tonight will be a teller.
Yeah. You know, Ryan's last performance against Rolly, we were all watching that fight, and everyone's like, he looks subdued. Doesn't look like the usual Ryan, especially the Ryan that we saw against Devin. You watched it. What did he get wrong in that fight, or is that a case of Rolly looking a lot better than we expected?
Where is his right hand? Do we know where his right hand is at? I think that's what he forgot when he fought Rolly Romero. He needs more than one hand to win a fight, and if you take away Ryan's left hook, he becomes vulnerable, and I feel like Rolly kind of exposed that.
Why does he not throw that right hand? We used to see it. I certainly saw it against Luke Campbell many, many years ago. Why don't we see it? Like, you barely see it at all in fights. Like, his stats, these numbers for the right hand must be so low.
I think it comes down to confidence. You know, I think he has a lot more confidence in that left hand. His left hook is one of the best weapons in boxing. He can throw it from any angle, and the right hand, you're right. Again, you go back to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao used to be a one-handed fighter, and he became an all-time great by becoming a two-handed fighter.
I think he probably ain't throw it because he was scared.
Of what's coming back?
I think Rolly Romero scared him with his power, and I think that because honestly, I think if I was him, I would have wanted a rematch with Rolly, but he never asked for a rematch. So I think maybe he was scared, and he probably thought that Rolly was going to counter him if he threw his right hand.
Let's have a look at the current Ring Magazine welterweight rankings, which I think are quite interesting, just because you got the champion, Mario Barrios. Who does these rankings? Is this you, Mike? You got Mario Barrios, the champion, is number 9. Obviously, the Ring Magazine title is vacant. Devin Haney, number 1. Shakur, when you look at that, I mean, are you not thinking I can make a jump to 147 and start eating a few people here?
For sure. There's some guys in there that I see that I know that I will beat. But at the end of the day, I don't plan on moving to 147 pounds anytime soon. So
you said that when I remember interviewing you a couple of years ago. I said, are you going to move to 140? He's like, no, 135 is good. You went to 140 and conquered that.
I know. That's the thing about me. Like, I'm kind of like, I say this, but I may do something different. So
indeed,
if you pressure me enough, I may just go to that weight class.
And see. All right, let's look at a weight class where we know you can fight, and that's your weight class right now, junior welterweight. These are the current rankings from the Ring Magazine. Obviously, a few fighters tonight on this card as well. Look who's number 1. No surprise there. 25 wins, 0 losses. Fantastic record. It's a good division, this now. We wonder what Richardson Hitchens going to do. Keyshawn's there. That's a great division.
Well, actually, Shakur Stevens is not number 1. He's the champion. So you have to put a little bit of respect on your name there.
I think this is a bad list, though. Like, is that the rankings? That's the rankings?
This is. Have a word with Mike. Mike, this is your rankings, Mike?
This is Doug Fisher, the editor-in-chief.
Why is Gary Russell number 8 and Dalton Smith number 2?
I don't know. That's a good question. But Dalton Smith, that was a mighty impressive performance to stop Subriel Matias, who's a bad man.
To get to number 2, though, off of one fight?
Hey, I don't make the rankings. You know, I'm just here to talk about them.
We're here to change the rankings. We want to change the rankings ourselves, and we will. All right, let's hear a bit more about the undercard. Let's go downstairs to our commentary team. Sergio Moro, Chris Mann, Todd Grisham, gents.
Yeah, let's talk now about the new co-main event. Richardson Hitchens pulling out because of illness, so his fight with Oscar Duarte off the card. Feel bad for Oscar Duarte. We'll talk about it more in a minute. But the new co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell and Andy Hiroka. The interesting story about Hiroka, he flew, 18 hours from Japan, landed Thursday night. We've all dealt with jet lag in our careers, it can be brutal at times, but Andy said, no, I feel fine, feel great. You buying that?
You know, it's hard to buy that. And look, on paper, I thought this had the potential to be one of the most competitive fights of the night. A tremendous style matchup between a pressure volume punching guy in Gary Antoine Russell and Andy Hiroka, who is terrific fighting off that back foot, especially throwing that stabbing left hand. We saw Gary Antoine Russell have problems with Alberto Puello 2 fights earlier. This would have been kind of a similar type of matchup. Hiroka's got some real pop with that left hand, will throw that right hook. I was really excited about it, and I still am really excited about it. But the fact that Andy Hiroka just got here midweek. Normal circumstances, you would try to get from Japan out here to Las Vegas 10 days, even 2 weeks before. He is going to get about 72 hours to adjust to this type of atmosphere, to adjust to this time zone. I can't believe that that's not going to have an impact on the fight.
Sergio, we're not fighters, you are. Have you ever dealt with jet lag? Is it real?
No, it's definitely real. But, you know, whenever you're a fighter like Andy Hiroka, he's a puncher, but he likes to step back and counter punch. You know, he really doesn't push the fight, so he's not a quick twitch type fighter. That's who it affects. Yes, he can have a red flag. Yes, he could probably start late, but he's a late round fighter anyway. So this fight's going to be important in the second half of the fight. If you are going to be worried about the Japanese fighter on this card, it's going to be the first 3 rounds where Russell can be really explosive.
And that's what Russell was telling us this week. He said, look, I feel bad for him that he showed up this late, but I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to press him early, see what he feels like, and I think we're going to see Russell really try to go for an early stoppage.
Yeah, let's talk about Russell for a minute. Comes from that fighting family, Sergio. How dangerous is he? All of his wins, except for one, coming by KO.
No, he's a heavy puncher, puts his combinations really nice, compact, concise, former Olympian, excellent body puncher, but it's how explosive he is, how much confidence he has in his combinations. But he's very aggressive. You know, he doesn't move his head as much. He keeps it in the line of fire, and this is where Hiroka could take advantage of it. Both these guys can be at the receiving end of that big left hand. They're both southpaws. Left-handers aren't accustomed to facing left-handers, so it could be explosive for either one.
Let me tell you, I love the development of Gary Antoine Russell. When I watched this fight against Alberto Puello 2 fights earlier, I thought he got beat by a smarter fighter, a more polished fighter in Puello, who took over in the second half of the fight and landed the cleaner punches. Fast forward about a year, and Gary Russell looked like a different fighter against Rayo Valenzuela. He dominated that fight from start to finish. He's been the knockout guy early in his career. 18 of his wins, 17 have come by knockout. But he won that fight by decision. He showed more boxing skill in that fight. If he brings that complete game against Andy Hiroka, this could be a very good night for Gary Antoine Russell.
And quickly, Sergio, earlier in the week, you picked Hiroka to win this fight. Now with the travel issues and what you saw on the scale yesterday, you sticking with that?
I'm still sticking with a great fight, but it wasn't that. It was a lack of amateur experience. When we finally spoke to Andy Hiroka, I found out he has 0 amateur fights. That's always a big red flag, but he has a puncher's chance.
What is the lesson we take away from that? That we shouldn't believe anything you say till Saturday morning?
Well, the more information that you find out about a fighter, then you got to
bet on this stuff. We're doing gambling segments.
Yes, we do, and that's why I like to wait until the Friday of the fight to get my prediction.
No more recording until Saturday morning.
Let's send to someone who we can trust. Our social media reporters backstage. It's Janelle Rodriguez.
Thanks, Todd. That's right. We have all of the angles covered right here across all of our social media platforms. All you got to do is follow us at DAZN Boxing. We'll be on X. We will be on Instagram, but that's not all. Make sure you go to the DAZN app, and what I want you to do is head over to the fan zone. There, you can interact with other fellow fans and just be a part of the broadcast. It looks to be an exciting evening here in Sin City, and it's been a very busy week already. Here's the story of Fight Week.
This fight here Saturday night will be a banger.
This fight means everything to me.
I promise I'm gonna beat out you. It is gonna be a great night of boxing.
Did we have an intimate relationship? Yes. Yes.
I know I'm the champion for a reason. I'm ready. When I step in that ring, I know myself will be 100%.
This is the Ryan Garcia I need to see.
I kind of like a bit of crazy Ryan. I miss him.
You're going to see a ferocious Ryan Garcia in the ring. We're not here to play games. From that start of that bell, we'll be ready to fight.
Going in there with bad intentions, I think this fight definitely end early.
Starting to fill up here at the T-Mobile Arena. Everyone very, very excited about what they can expect tonight. Remember, main event is Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. Because of the Richardson-Hitchens fallout, we have reshuffled the deck a little bit. Amari Jones versus Luis Arias now part of this pay-per-view card, and I think it's a great addition to this card as well, because in Amari Jones, Shakur, you've got a guy that is a prospect coming through. In Barrios, you've got a veteran now who's been there, he's experienced. It's good to see what Amari Jones can do against a veteran.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a test for Amari Jones. We're going to see how good he is, and after the test, we'll find out if he answers the questions that we need to know. This is a big, tough guy that's in front of him, and he got to pass the test with flying colors.
I like it, right? Because every prospect has to have that fight. You can't keep putting prospects in with guys they should win. You've got to put them in with live dogs. And yes, Barrios has been kind of win-lose recently, but he's a live dog.
Yeah, he's what I would call a proper gatekeeper, and that's not a disrespectful term. That means he's a solid fighter who can test Amari Jones. And for Amari Jones, like Shakur said, if he can't blow out Barrios, then you have to start saying, what does he really have?
All right, it's the first fight of the pay-per-view. Let's get the show on the road. Amari Jones versus Luis Barrios. Let's throw it down to Todd Grisham for tail of the tape.
It's time to start our main broadcast portion of the show, the pay-per-view, the money shot. Here we go. Amari Jones, 15-0 with 13 knockouts. He's 6 foot tall and 23. As for Barrios, he's been in the ring with some great fighters, but past his prime for sure. How much trouble can he give Jones at the age of 30? We're about to find out. Here's Thomas Triber.
Live worldwide on DAZN. Let's first welcome to the ring, Luis Cuba Arias.
Luis Arias from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, turned pro way back in 2012. He's been a professional, Sergio, for 14 years, coming off back-to-back losses. How much does he have left in the tank?
You know what? I think he's running on fumes right about now. I mean, this is a man that's 35 years old. He's come up short on the